We're back over towards North America, and it is time for EG to take on Gen G. Now, last time these two teams faced off, it went in favor of Gen G, but there were some close games throughout. And for making sure we're energized and ready for this one, I'm cracking open a cold one, but it is a legit cold one. I'm not going to be drinking on stream. Let's get this shit started. Boom. There we go. We're ready. Guys, are you ready for this?
Not as ready as you are, James. Not as ready as you are. Nobody beats that. Is it good?
Yeah, man. I'm diabetic. I get 0 sugar ones. It's perfect. It's maybe late at night here, but I got to stay supercharged and ready for this one. It's the only game of the day, so I'm going to be hyped up, ready, and energized from start to finish. And that's what I'm looking forward to from these two teams, right? Because when we're looking at EG, things weren't exactly pretty to the level we expect from them, but I'm hoping this time around we're going to see them show up to the standard we expect from these guys.
Yes, and I think you're spot on when you're saying that it's not necessarily looking bad for EG, but it's not looking as good as you'd expect for a team with that many star players. I think Christine said it yesterday that when you look towards Evil Geniuses, when you look towards the players, and now the coach coming in as well in terms of Zeus, this is a team that is built to potentially be the best North American squad, and also a team that potentially can be a top 3 team in the entire world. So when they go up against a team like Gen G, initially you'd be thinking to yourself, okay, Evil Geniuses, they should be able to win this one fairly easy. But looking at Gen G, apart from yesterday when they lost 2-0 to the Thieves, it's been looking good for them. They've been playing some super rock solid Counter-Strike. So coming into this match of Christine, I don't know if you agree, but it's more like a 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. For me as well. And you're spot on. I think Gen G, they do look very fantastic. I think the two differences is on the EG side of things, we've been seeing individuals popping off as far as their peak performance. I think Cirque, he's looking great. Sure, Breeze, he's not dropping over 120 ADR per match, but he's still looking fantastic, right? But Ethan, he was a little bit more quiet yesterday in that series. It seemed like he was playing a different style of game, a different pace of game than what C9 was throwing his way. So it took him a little bit of time to get back into that series, and unfortunately a little too late because they actually ended up losing that series out versus Cloud9.
Now I want to touch on the EG coaching change, right? Because obviously the team-wise, we know we're happy with what these players have to offer, but how much of a difference does adding a coach to this team like Zeus add to their ability to perform to another level here?
It adds a complete different layer on one condition, and I know Zeus is gonna hate me for saying this, but there's two versions of Zeus, right? There's the version that is the super driven person that can take any team from let's say a team is at a level 5 and he's just gonna bring up the team to a level 7 or level 8 just because he's so good at facilitating all the best abilities in certain players. Now that Zeus, if they can get him ignited, if they can get that Zeus as a coach, I believe EG have found potentially one of the best coaches in the world to join the organization. That being said though, when it's the Zeus from the MIBR time, when he's more laid back, when he's a little bit less hands-on, you know, just chilling a little bit with it, not really that motivated, Zeus is just a regular coach. So the Zeus I had in Team Liquid when he was my coach, he was the ignited one, he was the motivated one, and by then I have no doubt saying that he's a coach on the level with Sonic and Astralis. But if he's not motivated, then Zeus is just a regular coach who of course is a bright mind for Counter-Strike, but he's not going to elevate EG. So please, I beg, Zeus, the motivated one, turn up.
And we have to remember also on that front, I believe it was Moses that said back in that Liquid lineup, around the time you were on that squad as well, Pimp, Zeus kind of made these boys into men, right? And started actually allowing them to know and understand what it's like to be winners within the competition. So I think certainly if he's able to bring that sort of value to this EG squad, I mean, he should be able to at least get them in the right mental state.
Just a quick note on that one. I have no problem saying on the record at all that without Zeus and Team Liquid in that period when I was within that squad as well, Elise would have never been the player he is today. Nitro would never be the in-game leader he is today, and Liquid would have never been the best team in the world for that period. He built the foundation in Liquid. He learned those guys, and myself included, to be serious about Counter-Strike and take it to the next level. Without him, there would have been no Liquid success, so we can attest a lot to him and his time in Liquid.
High praise indeed. You love to hear it, but I want to see what EG are going to bring to this game, so let's hear from them.
When we first got Zeus, we were really focused on kind of implementing any strong points he had from MIBR that he could teach us and kind of getting him integrated with the team. Just until like last week, we kind of decided just to go back to our roots and make sure everything's super strong, because you can't really grow as a team if roots are still bad. So I think every now and then it's good as a team to kind of go back and make sure everything's stable.
freebie there, where they walked straight down middle and took out Cirque. There we go. Those are getting low now.
Spray down Tarek.
Yeah, versus Genji, definitely didn't go as planned. I think everyone was making bad individual plays and reads. And then definitely as a team, we were definitely like at our lowest point. I think we still have better individual play and tactic. So hopefully now we're ready to go. We have some stuff in store for you guys. So keep watching.
So EG there, right? And I'll say one thing, when we're hearing him talk, then he doesn't even sound as confident as he usually sounds. And that to me is one of those signs where it might come down to his performance that hasn't looked as good, at least in the opening game.
Hey, he's not just out of practice in that server, he's out of practice with these interviews, man. Quarantine has made us all sorts of weird. So certainly talking into a little webcam is a little bit different. He certainly seems a lot more relaxed in his room environment than what we're used to seeing in that LAN environment on the stage. But he's still got that suave, that coolness about him, which he's certainly going to need going into this series.
Now, I want to take a quick look at this group as well, right? Because they got off to a tough start for them. They tried to take it to C9, but it wasn't working out for them. This is a game that they must win now. And again, when we look at this group, I keep saying it, but it's online. It's all up in the air, and anyone can win on any given day.
Anyone can win on any given day, and especially looking at this group and the state of North American Counter-Strike. Initially, just looking at the 4 teams right here, I can barely tell which one is supposed to win the group and which one is supposed to go out of the tournament. It can, at this point, it can be anyone. Cloud9, off to a good start, sure. Same for the Thieves. In 2 days, 3 days, we could be looking at a situation where those two are out of the tournament. It's such a close group. There's so many good teams in here, and so many teams as well who struggle. Evil Geniuses, they're supposed to be the better team. The Thieves are supposed to be the better team, but they're not playing up to that level right now, and that gives a golden opportunity to the Cloud9 and to the Gen.G squad for making a big upset right now.
And when we're looking at that Gen.G squad, right, we saw them in action yesterday, going back-to-back games here, and they really have a point to prove. We spoke about the deliverables there with their coach of what Bentek can offer, what Automatic can do, but those individuals weren't able to step up at the same time.
No, they were. The only good thing from yesterday, I guess, is that Song, he was able to actually step up. And we spoke about it a little bit yesterday about the fact that his trajectory was on such a skyrocketing upward trajectory, but then he just faltered off. But yesterday he showed us exactly why we had such high hopes for this youngster. But the rest of the Gen.G squad, it's the same storyline. It's about the consistency. But I gotta say, the slow, methodical approach coming out from Gen.G, it kind of gives me hope, right? I mean, they're preparing for the long run. And Daps has said it before in the past, is that this project, he's looking at the bigger picture. He's trying to get his team to a point where they can actually be competitive with the best of the best in the world. And right now, we're just seeing those growing pains with the consistency front.
And when it comes to consistency, right, it's one of those things that's really hard to deliver online when you're in a different environment. Things are changing so rapidly. Players come out with some next level wild confidence that we haven't seen before as well. They play very differently to what you may be used to. And that's something very hard to deal with that we're seeing a lot of teams struggle with here. But I love the part when we spoke to Elmer Putty yesterday when he was saying about Bentek having to learn a bit of a different style of play, having obviously played a lot of time in the agency where he could get away with things you generally can't get away with over here.
No, and that's the thing. Bentek has to realize now he's playing with the big boys. He's playing with some of the best North American players out there. And if you make a mistake against Elish, or if you make a mistake against Twist for that matter in Liquid, you're going to get your head ripped off. And that's just the way it is. If you did that in the Asian scene, he could maybe bail out with the crisp aim he has himself. But over here, you make mistakes, you get punished, especially when those teams are playing well. So it's good to see that he already now is aware that he has to improve in those certain aspects. I think Bentek is off to a good start in Gen.G, and I'm excited to see where he is in half a year, because this dude, I've been saying it for a long time, but he can be one of the best players in the world if he's being nurtured correctly.
And that's what it sounds like they're exactly doing with it as well, which I love, and I want to hear more from this team to see how they're going to go up against EG now.
So going into the match versus Evil Geniuses, I wouldn't say we personally feel like we're the favorites, but I don't know how the community feels, like the betting odds and how the odds would be like against them. But for us personally, at least me, I don't know about my teammates, I feel like it'll be a 50-50 matchup.
Broken through. You can see he knows the sound cues, and Som, he's ready for him, but does he land a shot? Apparently he does. Nice work. So he definitely did hear him. All he was aware, but it's all a ruse. You see the fact they've taken all this space. They've actually managed to crack open the inside area, and this is going to be a very important shot. How does Tarek and Breezy bring this one back?
Honestly, I think individually they are like 60-40, but then in my opinion our team play would be better than theirs, so would be another like 60-40, which is why I say it's like 50-50. So we scrimmed EG not too long ago, and we know that EG has changed a couple of spots from our last match, so we're not too focused on countering or trying to focus too much on like little holes that they have, because we know that they've changed from the last time we played them. So honestly, going into like this EG match, we're focusing on ourselves.
I'm not too sure what to make about a lot of those comments. 50-50, not too confident in certain aspects of his team, even though they had the win last time around. Oh, God. I get what he's trying to do, right? Play our own game, the typical answers and stuff like that, but they need a lot more than that to take down EG.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, this Gen G squad, once again, they're young, right? And that trust system, it's still developing. So maybe that's why he wasn't quite sure how his teammates feel about this match going in. But, you know, we would expect them to have a little bit more confidence than that. But you know what? Young Somathan, he can show his confidence in that server, which I know he will, because he's got that 16-year-old aim to back him up on that aspect. So I'm sure that he'll do all his talking with his mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, we've got to give him some time to learn the interview side of things. But what I want to look at is this veto, because last time around we saw Nuke, Train, and Dust2 come out from these guys. How much of a change will happen? Let's have a look at how it's going to go down. Then bans makes sense. Oh, okay, we're going to have an Inferno play in there from EG.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think EG can play in Train at a very high level. I think Zerg in particular is a stunning AWP player on that CT side, especially the way he plays. He's very aggressive towards team main, very aggressive towards Pop Dog. He doesn't play like a lot of AWP players does, behind the 6 Train, back down Ivy, behind Green. He likes to be up front, he likes to be aggressive, so that's going to be interesting to see that one panning out. Map veto-wise, Christine, I don't know about you, but this was pretty much as expected. And I think both these teams are fairly comfortable with all the maps they're going to play. Inferno as well, everyone knows how to play it.
Yeah, I guess the only big thing, the big difference here would be the Vertigo coming in place as that third map decider in place of Nuke. I think that's kind of a curveball. I think EG are gonna probably struggle a little bit more on that versus Gen G, because Gen G have had the will to actually first pick Vertigo going into a series just a few weeks ago. So I believe they're going to be a little bit more practiced on that one. But you're right, this Train in Inferno is absolutely expected.
And I'm glad you said that, Christine, just to add some context to the boys out there watching right now. You look at that win percentage, as you may think to yourself, okay, Christine, you're saying that Gen G is actually decent on Vertigo. They lost 16-12 against Furia, one of the best teams in the world on Vertigo. A competitive game. They lost 16-13 against Cloud9, again, competitive. They lost in overtime against Cloud9 at the Flashpoint, and then they lost 16-13 to MIBR. So all the losses they've had on Vertigo has been super, super close against some of the best teams in North America on the map. So I agree with you, Christine. Despite only having a 20% win rate, Vertigo is a map they play to a somewhat high level.
Yeah, sometimes the percentages don't tell the whole picture. Now, we've given our thoughts here on how this could all be going down, but I want to hear from Twitch chat. It's time for you guys to make your vote on who you think is going to win at this game. If you're going to go for the EG camp or the Gen G camp, we'll have to wait and see. But right now, all I know from looking at those maps is we're going to get a competitive game. We are going to get a tight series for sure. And we're going to get amazing Counter-Strike action as always. It's time for us to head to a break. And when we come back, we'll be getting into the action and kicking things off a little bit further.
it's me, Lily from AT&T. I'm back, working from home, and here to help.
Hey Lily, I'm hearing a lot about 5G. Should I be getting excited?
Depends. Are you gonna want faster speeds?
I will.
More reliability?
Oh, also yes.
Better response times?
Definitely.
Are you gonna be making sourdough bread?
Oh, is that 5G related?
No, it's just like, why is everyone making sourdough now? But yes, you're gonna want 5G.
AT&T is building 5G on America's best network. Visit att.com to learn more.
Right next to the fountain. CEOs and business suits and private accountants. Summertime parties by the pool, we lounging. Then by night we out stunting on the main strip. Out of state trips, cars with the paint drip. How could you hate this? Jewelry in my chain sick. That's the life I wanna live. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. It's all about the lifestyle. It's all about the lifestyle. Show me the money. If I have enough dough. Fashion show out in Paris in the front row. Party every night, I don't have time to sleep. Next day it's the same, just rinse and repeat. Summertime trips on the yacht to the island. Squad rolling with me and we do a lot of wildin'. Bottle of whatever you want, just put your order in. You can have as much as you want, there's plenty more of them. Yeah, show me the money. Show me the money. It's all about the lifestyle. It's all about the lifestyle. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. It's all about the lifestyle. It's all about the lifestyle. Show me the money.
We're about to get started with the game, but before that, I want to see what Twitch chat had to offer and which way they're going before I hear from Potter and Pimp on their decision on all of this, because we know Twitch chat like to throw us some curveballs every now and again, and they like to try and surprise us, but I have a feeling that EG might be the favored ones in... Oh my, wow, see again! They've done it again. They just look at the past results and they make their decisions. But Pimp, I'm going to start with you. Which way do you think this is going to go?
That's a good question, James. I think, as Sam said, Sam is not supposed to say it's a 50-50. Sam is supposed to say we're going to win it. But I think this is a 50-50. Looking at the maps, though, and looking at the history and looking at these two teams, I think the defining factor in this matchup is going to be the fact that Automatic is not going to be playing super, super confident going up against a guy like Cirque. So I'm going to lean towards EG because I think he's going to win out the AWP battle, and I think that's going to be enough for EG to win against Gen G.
Paula, what about you?
I still have faith. I'm going Gen G on this one. Gen G all the way.
Okay, well, I'm with the Gen G camp as well because I believe when BenTech can come online, if Automatic can hit those shots, that's what it's going to come down to. That's how the game is going to
Guys,
go.
you're both wrong. Just wanted to point that out.
Twitch chat and me and Potter are both wrong. All right, Pimp, you're always right. But we'll count up all your predictions, right, across the series. We'll see how you do. Maybe you should enter the DreamHack Pick'ems as well because I know Sigourney's a big fan of that. He's been killing it with it. But Train's the opening game, and I think it really is going to come down to that crazy AWP battle that can come in there. So Cirque's going to have to come in hot and heavy if he wants to get the job done.
Yeah, and we saw Automatic. He wasn't playing that well yesterday, to be completely honest. He wasn't really finding the shots with the AWP. And I don't think Automatic is in his best position when he's playing with the AWP. I think he's better when he's a dynamic player who can pick it up as a secondary op. I think Automatic used to have one of the best aims within North American Counter-Strike, and now he's forced to play the primary op role. And I'm sure that's a good role for him, on the long run. So I think Cirque is a much, much better and more consistent AWP. And if Cirque is going to do Cirque things on a map like Train, then I think that should be enough for EG to win out.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to leave it there with you two. I'm going to bring Scrawny and Launders into the mix and hear what they've got to say ahead of their commentary time. Guys, it's good to see you both. It's good to see your faces. I wish I could touch you. Which way am I going? Does this work? No,
Don't
that
touch
way.
Me,
there we go.
I smell bad, so we're probably not. It's probably good that we're...
You're just living the life at home. You're not showering anymore. I see how it is.
Deodorant
Cut
anymore,
your own hair.
right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're lucky at this point. We're lucky. But this game, guys, right? This is certainly going to be a banger. I think we're in for a free mapper.
We could be.
I think the odds are high of that. Obviously, the recent results tips towards Gen G, but if, as any good analyst, you got to look at EG and say they're supposed to win this match.
All right, well, let's get into the game. Time for you guys to take it away. Let's enjoy some Train.
See you in a bit, James. See you in a bit. That's right. Folks, we're back with North American Counter-Strike. We've got Gen G and EG. Now, me personally, I've got to stick to my pick'ems. I'm still in the top 100, but I have fallen short into that lower 50, okay? Because Gen G cost me a point yesterday when they played versus 100 Thieves. And, well, I still think they're capable of kicking Evil Geniuses while they're down. We've seen EG struggle a little bit, but I don't think by any means this is going to be as convincing as, say, what Cloud9 offered us in their opening matchup. I was kind of putting Cloud9 and Gen G neck and neck in the next period of time, hoping that they'd, give us this explosive fight and that maybe that matchup could decide who tops the group. But Gen G stuttered yesterday, and they definitely looked outclassed on Overpass. So I'm kind of curious where their map pool goes, and yet I still find myself cheering for them, Mohan. Where does your heart fall?
Yeah, it's tough for me on this one. I don't really feel like I could make a level-headed prediction. I think the recent form tips it towards Gen G, but I think Pimp had a very valid point that if Automatic is a bit hot and cold right now, Cirque definitely looks a lot better. That's going to be a pretty important matchup on an individual level to change the course of the maps. And we look at the map pool itself, this could very easily be a 2-1, but who wins on Vertigo is a question mark as well, because although Gen G have been picking it, they also have been losing it quite often. So it feels like it's slightly fallen out of their map pool.
Yeah, picking it, losing on it, and also banning it. We saw Vertigo be their ban yesterday versus 100 Thieves. And today, because of that Overpass result in the second map yesterday as well, again versus the Aussies, we see Overpass banned first instead, and Vertigo slips into the map pool. So that to me kind of screams a little lack of confidence. But we're only going to have to find out if we get there, right? There's a world where this one all 2-0s. There's a world where either team take it. I think it is fair that our experts have kind of put this one straight down the middle.
It really couldn't be a harder match to call. And even if we look at the veto between these two first maps, Train and Inferno could go for a 2-0 for either team. Gen G pick into Train, but it's a very strong map for EG historically. And Gen G looked good on it, we already know. But then Cirque's really, really good at opping right now. And then Inferno, that's also a wash for EG just because their form is a bit out of whack. So they could drop Inferno, they could pick up Train. It could be the opposite. I've really not seen a clear answer to this. Picking a winner is tough on this one.
Definitely so. We're about 90 seconds away from the start of the first map, guys, so don't you fret, all right? Casters, start game. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I want to talk about Som real quick. I want to talk about Som and I want to talk about Bentet because these are the two, I'd say, lesser known pieces. We've seen Kusta with a run in North America. We've seen Automatic with his run, and Daps is a proven entity, a proven successful part of creating teams. But Som and Bentet, I don't think they've gotten that chance to really, I'll just call it that. They haven't gotten their chance. Not in a solid form, not in a solid team. And this could really be it. That's a huge move for Bentet to come join the North American region. And we look at, say, the heavier hitters of EG, we give super amounts of praise to Cirque on the AWP, one of North America's best snipers, hands down. And so now you'd think that Bentet has to try and fill shoes of that size. There's expectations from an organizational standpoint and probably from a team standpoint too, for him to come over and just start racking up frags, for him to start carrying games. And I would really love to see a Bentet in that mode.
Yeah, there's a multitude of conflicting storylines here, as you're pointing out. Som, at the beginning of the year, had the DreamHack Open Anaheim MVP, and then recently tapered off. His form started to fall back, but then again, in most recent matches, has bounced up as well. So Bentet, on top of that, I think you're right. There needs to be a gestation period for him to get comfortable, and then we can really see him shine because he was at the helm of the team with much less talent, and now they've got a better roster, but it's going to be harder to fit him in and give him that same shining light.
Well, let's do it. Without further ado, folks, welcome to map 1 between Evil Geniuses and Gen G. Both these teams currently 0-1 in their group, so you'd have to feel that this matchup could come back to bite whoever gets eliminated in the end. This is their chance to be back into the middle of the pack. Stanislaw, he saw contact over towards the B site early, decides to fall all the way over towards Oil, but 3 Ts have moved past the bomb site itself, and Stan capable with dealing the first 2. Now, Automatic, he's still standing amidst the CTs, and he certainly hears all of the footsteps move around through spawn, so he knows his position's compromised. It's huge for Daps to pick up that flank kill because now the 2 players left on site can just look forward, and they do so, taking down another couple players, leaving Tarek to try and clutch, and he doesn't come up with much. It's Gen G Esports taking T-side pistol.
You always play a very scary game to allow the bomb to go down and play that 5v5 post plant. We look at the spots from the CTs, ladder room control, one back on B. They're planning not to die and to play for this situation. But just as we saw in that last clip with Kusta being able to shoot down the guy in the side of the head on the back of the bomb site, that's going to happen quite often, especially if you don't get the opening frag. And Gen G worked well with that space. We saw how good their B execs were when they were able to get to the back of the site with the bomb planted. So post-plant situations may not be favorable for EG, even though their executes are a step up from the last team that Gen G played.
We get the one and done out from Som. Decides to throw himself through the smoke towards T-Con. That's going to be shut down by Ethan, a player who you'd love to see come alive early. He had a bit of a struggle in their opening match, already touched upon by the analysts, so I'm not going to beat him while he's down. But we know what Ethan's capable of. I would say actually one of the most promising aspects of our boy Imapet departing is that he praised Ethan as being one of the more vocal voices on EG when it comes to adapting gameplay and coming in with new strategies, new ideas. So he's got that big brain, and oh my god, apparently the aim. 2 kills on the retake already. He is going to jump on top of the bomb. Daps, he's going to have to peek this. There isn't a kit. He's inside, near halfway gone, and Daps wrongs him. A robbery from the above. It's Gen G with a second.
Into the 10-second defuse as well. There was a chance that Ethan could have pulled that off despite the first kill not going his way. Ethan's form specifically has been called into question recently, and it's great to see him pick up this 3K. Unfortunately, they lose the round. It's definitely a close call for Gen G, and they spend a whole bunch of money investing 4 players into trying to win. So it's still a small victory there for Evil Geniuses, although they are back on the USPs. The full eco is outside. All the USPs just in between the trains, not looking to avoid contact, but just playing tradable spots and hoping that Gen G go for this outside play. And it seems like there is a rumbling of it. They might end up running headfirst into the stack.
Som's position about to be checked. That's the rattling of the double MAC-10s. Off of the flashbang, Som starts to sprint forward here, just checking the corpses. Looking for a little upgrade, but again, it is purely vanilla pistols coming out of Evil Geniuses. They don't decide to move off of the first casualty, just kind of letting Tarek die on his own and holding what they have. This pistol set up outside. Som throws the grenade. There's a little bit of chip damage, but still very patient on both sides of the coin here. Nobody's really forcing the issue, but with this smoke grenade, Stan thinks he's going to find a bit of timing. Decides to walk through it. No, he holds. It's Gen G who have had enough. They sprint into the B site, find it's completely free. They call out that A stack, and this is going to guarantee them their third round with minimal losses.
They really did a fantastic job of both pretending they were going to continue with their A take, as well as working on B simultaneously with the rest of their core. So yeah, these pistols won't have any kills coming their way, except for maybe this SMG, or the SMG could take the role of fragging. And Ethan ends up trading it 1-for-1. That's not so bad. MP5 has now made its way to the CT side. Automatic looking to catch the fallback with the MAC-10. A couple of players are low, and the MAC-10 reigns supreme once again.
You're getting headshots. It's not the best weapon in the world.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like the USP. That's true. It does sound like
it's just
automatic.
three MP. It's 3 USPs duct taped together. It's really all it is.
Yeah, that sounds like.
Duel that Pimp was so beautifully painting a picture of. It's the Automatic versus Cirque show. And right now, Automatic sets up shop. He wins the op trade, but it does cost a body, obviously, and then another. Gen G gonna lose the man advantage because Ethan followed suit with another quick kill. He's off to a strong start so far here on Train, and that could be a great sign of things to come for EG. But Bentet, he walks down the ramp, and he's not gonna find anybody up close here, so this is definitely gonna start drawing the bomb over. He knows that somebody has to be near. There's no way it's completely for free, and now he sees that CT deep. Way back. Stanislaw gonna get dropped by the headshot. Kusta comes in to plant bombs. So that's a big opening here for Bentet on a man disadvantage to create the space, make the call, get the kill, and then possibly lock it down. Breeze gonna walk right into his Galil. So Bentet's got everything to do. He gets another frag before Ethan trades it back. He is 6-3 at the start of this, and it's another clutch attempt from Ethan. He's sprinting over to the bomb with Automatic above him. He has a smoke to block off it, and a frag to follow suit. Does great damage to soften Automatic, and this time he's got the kit. He's gonna stick it. Defuse shines through. EG on the board.
Yeah, he calls out that spot, sees that Automatic falls back, potentially hoping that he throws a grenade, takes position on the bomb with a great HE from himself as well, and yeah, finally gets some revenge for in that 1vx situation. That's nicely done by Bentet, first and foremost. And he's doing a good job here of exploiting the fact that if you're going to play spotting on B, there's always going to be a gap in the information. And yes, you're always going to have to take a risk to win the round in the man disadvantage situation. So that's kind of one of the better risks that you can take, trying to lurk out into a site, into a place where you know they can't watch both choke points competently with one player. It puts a lot of pressure on Stan to win the duel once he's been spotted. But clearly, with somebody on the hunt, the other player's never going to be in a bad position to win the fight, so it's not favored for Stan sometimes. So what I'm trying to say, it's a bit random, but it's nice for the T when they're already looking for whatever they can get. So now the CT setup is once again pretty standard outside, on both sides, excuse me, but they're watching both things inside, and Gen G are playing Uno with their spots on Ivy, looking to potentially get set up for an outside take. And Daps, he's only got a CZ. He's sitting outside Ivy, so he might just be here to throw grenades. Not sure if he'll commit or not.
Smoke up and over. Gonna go real deep into the ladder room in case there was a counter-terrorist pushed up here, but it's really just Ethan inside of Z, and then Tarek like a landmine on the MP9, waiting for them to get close. He tries to blow them away. Ethan the same, but it's just one and done and trades back and forth until Som can break that trend. Daps' CZ is enough. But look at Som's HP. 1 point for him, 4 on Daps. That pool of 5 health is all that makes the difference on the outer yard. And as soon as EG pick up 1 round, they're set back into the dumps.
Yeah, I think that's the most salient point, that these trades are barely won. But, you know, if you're going to have low guns, you've got to come up with some miraculous kills like that. The first bullet accuracy being slightly better for Gen G on the outside execute. And they put pressure on the fact that EG played 3 outside as opposed to 4.
Ooh, hide automatic. There's a lot of bodies coming at you. Daps trying to give cover. A little bit awkward because the closest player to automatic actually died already. So the pistol push did work out by denying the ops kill and then also dealing with his helping hand. However, they weren't able to stop the bomb. And during this time period, during the push out Ivy, of course, Gen G find B for free. Benta yet again as deep as possible on that bomb site, just calling for Daps to sprint over. And all seems good. I say seems because there's still low HP on 2 of the players for Gen G and 3 of these pesky pistols.
Man, I think one of the best ways to get Benta to be comfortable in his positions is to allow him to lurk, because then he can dictate how the round goes for the T's. He can only take the fights that he exactly feels comfortable with, and you can rely on him to use his in-game intellect to make good reads and good plays. And he seems to be very comfortable in this. 9 kills already, 113 ADR after round 5, and Evil Geniuses getting pushed out of their comfort zone one more time. Really do appreciate here how Gen G are giving both sides a lot of love and not making it seem like they're committing really, really hard to just one or the other, either with a lurk or with 2 players shooting and throwing nades, or their use of Ivy presence, which I feel like is underappreciated by a lot of teams lately. Gen G are kind of doing it all right now on the T side. So Evil Geniuses are having their economy stripped from them. They're going to have another chance for Cirque to get an op on the board, but they have no money to spend after this round. So if they lose, Gen G could really come through with a strong half off the back of only 3 rifle rounds.
So far, things have been great for Gen G. And their train wasn't really in question yesterday. Really losing out to a miraculous 2 versus 5 in the later end of the map. Automatic just blasts away Ethan. Poor kid gets barrel stuffed by the sniper rifle. Tarek trading grenades inside of T-Con, sees a player fall back and dumps another frag. This time doing, hell, decent damage. Som's down to 3/4 health. But Old Faithful, seems like Gen G are going to move the majority over towards the B site. Stan falling back to where he usually is, over on that oil tankard. Keep your eyes on the radar, though. There is a chance that Tarek comes flying up the ladder just as Som moves by with bomb. Imagine had he gotten cut off. Could have been huge. There's still Daps to sit back and watch this. Tarek decides to come upwards, and he is sent right back down the hidey hole. Stanislaw has not seen anything, but he knows exactly what's up. The bomb plant towards the B site, and in a 3 versus 5 where you've already mentioned they'll have nothing to buy back with, oh boy, they should just try to run. Automatic gets slightly tagged up, and that gives Stan a route to exit. He's going to sprint over towards Ivy and try to join the other 2 rifles so that they can save all they can.
Gen G make it look very simple, and they get that 1 kill on Ethan outside, and that creates so many opportunities for them once again to shove it into the B site. And Stan's position on the back of B is intrinsically limited, but he doesn't have much of a choice. If he tries to play up close, he can get swarmed by 5 players and create a worse situation for his teammates. But when they tried to jock for map control after they took the B site, coming up the ladder, Gen G showed us what you can do when you have 5 players and a man advantage, and that's just simply watching ladder. So they were able to push their 5v4 to a win without giving up any exploitable spots in the post plant. Now Evil Geniuses still only have 1 round. Gen G are on the road to just having a fantastic half if they haven't already. Major facts: this is the 4th game of DreamHack Masters to have a major winner playing for both teams. FaZe Fnatic, MIBR Liquid, and Astralis G2. Wow, it's just only the cream of the crop here at DreamHack Masters.
Wow, it actually, honestly, I'm just going to admit it. It took me a second to look over the Gen G roster and remember who won a major. It has been quite some time since the glory days of Automatic's Cloud9 run.
I disagree. I think it feels like yesterday.
That hurt me a little. I remember the day it happened. Continent of choice.
Yeah. Well, now that all the major winners are split up, I think this is the appropriate way to play roulette, right? You put your chips on multiple numbers as opposed to just like all on red like I would do.
Yeah, we learned that lesson in Macau.
Many cities, actually. My strat doesn't work no matter what city you go to, yeah.
Bentet's going to take a peek. Oh, not even needed. He just shoots through the floorboards. Poor Ethan. I mean, actually, good job, Ethan. He actually had to react to the spam, and he still only lost out to a single bullet because look at Bentet's health, 12 left.
So the initiator is the victor here with Bentet. Still maintaining that ADR in the above exceptional bracket, over 100 ADR for him. Once again, he'll be left to work alone as the bomb works towards B, but look at this Ivy presence that's going on for Gen G, even committing out.
Breeze, no slouch. Ooh, but Cirque, uncharacteristic, missed the shot, allows Automatic to get in. Now Stan swings wide, drops the bomb, and that's the big play from Stanislaw. Tarek comes through Z, gets himself onto the scoreboard, and Evil Geniuses survive what was a crucial round. Remember, they go into that with the 3 saved guns, they buy up around it, everything on the line, and they manage to get through.
I like where they were coming from. I think the idea was that if they press on Ivy control, then at least Cirque or whoever their Z rotator is will not be watching the lower B ramp, and they definitely wouldn't have to. But Evil Geniuses seemed either they didn't communicate the fact that a lot of Ivy presence was coming on, or they weren't scared of it. Knew there was potential for a fake. Ethan goes 1 for 1 on this round.
Damn, this one comes to a flying start. Daps able to trade one. Som gonna get that man advantage here for Gen G. So it's just a matter of getting past Cirque's op. 60 health for him, and he's gotten into the cover. He's trying to ice out these peaks. But Gen G just falls silent. I mean, moments ago, there was this barrage of utility and bullets stampeding into the A site, and then it just stops. Eerie, but Bentet nearly blows Cirque out of the sky. He never even touched the ground. Poor guy. Stanislaw, op and a full belt of utility. That grenade, if only moments sooner, could have been his door into the 1 versus 3 attempt, but because he is so outnumbered and because his life is still so valuable, I mean, we're talking kit, full Kevlar, near all nades, and that AWP, so he has to save.
That feeling that you were trying to share with us about how it became so tense at that moment when all of Gen G got onto the outside site, I think that's exactly what Gen G were going for. Get into very good spots outside, but leave most of them a question mark, and then allow Evil Geniuses to scare themselves into giving up one more kill. And that's pretty much just it. You know, you replace the CTs on the A site in their favorite positions, flip the table, keep a man advantage to force someone to move on EG, and then hopefully they make another mistake and you make an easy win. Or if enough time passes, you safely get the bomb down, you have the 3v2 post plant, which we know is way too difficult to win on train outside. It's virtually impossible to win a 1v1 sometimes with how many options there are for the T that can move around the train. So that's a nice move here by Gen G. We're seeing a lot of variety in their play. Executes, the tempo changes, the lurk strats, and again, giving attention to both the A and B side.
There's no overcommitment on either side of the map here. Really just, I want to say conditioning Evil Geniuses, but not conditioning them to do anything specific, just conditioning them to not be able to go into an all-in play. It's tough when you have no clue what the hell is coming. So they at least creep up towards T-Con, which I feel like has been a position where they're able to vie for control, barring that last round where we had the all-out rush. How often have we seen such a level of aggression? Kusta, he's very quickly positioned himself down ladder and holds for Tarek to do exactly this. Peeks into the AK, has his head taken clean off, and we've got Gen G looking to flex that man advantage. Great grenade though, and well-timed smoke. You saw that interrupt Kusta's expected play as he had already primed the flash.
I like that Gen G look to continue forward with outside because they've seen EG in this 5v4 situation rotate and stay 2 inside. And look, EG actually overstacking towards outside, but there's going to be a small fake towards inside to try to draw a rotate back. We'll see how hard Evil Geniuses commit to this based on this information. And oh my god, Daps, actually, they're committing a player here, so now they can pull him out, knowing that this site is basically wide open. No reason to go outside anymore. Another checkmate, if you will.
Yeah, and another checkmate in the form of something we've seen before. Just one deep B player commits to the site, gets all that information, and now he finds himself within the counter terrorists. But can Daps come in with kills? That's the next question. Do the CTs expect him? Ethan doesn't check the corner. Daps decides to execute Stan, and it's a great spray for the second frag. Nicely done there by Daps. You saw Ethan go to check it, but then because his route turned towards the further corner of CT spawn, poor Stanislaw becomes a victim of the uncleared corner. Daps trying to wrap back all the way towards T side so that maybe they can even take these guns from Cirque and Breeze.
The lurks are one thing, but we have got to appreciate how good Gen G are at playing these 5v4s. Using their one extra piece as a way to scout for information in that situation allowed them to avoid running into a site that had 4 players. It was a great adjustment from EG based on the rounds that we've seen, where Gen G like to turn it back and go to the B site. Here, Evil Geniuses tried to read one level deep, and once again, Gen G used their 5v4 to take literal information and turn that into a round win. There was no calling that out. Daps goes in there. You have to be there to kill him, or he's going to learn too much. And that's the game that Gen G played. So they are really earning the hell out of this half, honestly.
A masterclass thus far. 10 rounds deep. EG's still sitting on 2 to the 8 of the terrorist side. So 5 more to go here before we close the first half. Tarek, who had his 26 ADR at the moment, goes jumping in with the MP9. That one gets shut down real quick. And I feel like poor Tarek, you know, like he's being used in these informational plays, like going for that extension around towards T-Con, but we saw him do it early once, and Kusta took his head clean off, no trade. This time, yet again, he's kind of making these movements, but who is there to try and support him? I feel like a second set of eyes would really help, and yet nobody was up close with him.
It was a bit of an uninspired take on T-Con, where he was throwing a smoke as a fake nade, and his teammate was flashing for him to get one person to turn. But he's coming from the right side of the blue train, which means he's losing out on shadow advantage. They're already accustomed to the push, as you pointed out, so there's a lot of things working against him, on top of him just having an MP9.
Ooh, Sturt gonna miss a second shot, a third on what could have been a sitting duck. Sturt peeks out towards ramp, still empty-handed on the op. And we've got Gen G with the bomb plant now. CT's up high already. Then Tep first to die. Automatic's gonna respond with one of his own, but he's in a really tough position. Sees that second head, but Breeze slips through the oil tank. And Cirque, he hits it when it matters most. Shuts down that last player in Psalm. And that's Evil Genius's defusing bomb for now what is a 5-round lead.
There were very few ingredients that allowed EG back into that round. They had low on grenades. They lacked the man advantage once again off the early round. They've been weak to these B takes once the bomb goes down. We've seen so many clutches on the B site, but that's normally when it's more of a favored situation. And so you wonder how they even pulled themselves back into this. On top of Cirque missing, as you pointed out, his first 3 shots on a player upper. It felt like maybe he got the rust off with those 3, and that's what allowed him to hit the important one. But still, a very, very strange round for Gen G to lose of all the rounds that we've seen so far.
Yeah, lucky for him, he's not punished as the ops on cycle between those first 3 shots. Nobody was actually shooting back at him. Had that been combined with his whips, and Cirque could have hit the dirt, and maybe Gen G are already on 9. But hey, there is a world where that's still a possibility. Gonna burn out some of the utilities. Psalm has to extinguish the fire at his feet.
Here's a situation where I wonder if they'll utilize Ivy, and also if they'll try to use Bentet to try to lurk again because he was so good at it. You know, this is really going to put a mark on the face of Evil Genius's confidence. If they lose this round, I think that's understood by Gen G. They're looking at the 2-3 right now. No fake involved in this, as far as we can tell, and they aren't utilizing an op at Ivy as well. But it is going to be a contact play.
They've got Tarek kind of occupied at the moment. Breeze's flashbang calls them out. Tarek tries to turn, gets the first frag versus Psalm, but he falls off. And now he's gone. Breeze peeks in. Bentet shuts that one down, and now a lot of pressure falling onto Ethan and Cirque, both the CTs on the bomb site. But another moment where they're trying to struggle here, trying to find a target to take. And Gen G not making it easy. Why? Because they're hoping Bentet can come around on the flank. Although Daps gets the job done before that comes into fruition. Stanislav firing through the flames. Daps has him slain, and that's Gen G taking 9.
One of the most important and impressive parts about Gen G is this mid-round. When they get set up outside, they look like they're very calm, and they know how to make the CTs uncomfortable. Ethan was looking to frag out in that spot in the middle of Bomb Train, got his first kill. And then when he didn't find his second, he was very confused. Gen G the entire time had a plan for how they were going to attack it, but definitely took their time once they got into good spots. And that's what's worked out very well for Gen G. It's not giving any EG any obvious kills. Nice to see you, Ethan. Ethan hit 12 frags in the 11th round of this map, matching his best map of yesterday. That is a damning statistic. Ethan definitely was on the back of the struggle bus without a seatbelt on yesterday.
And yet, while we were trying to paint the picture of Ethan coming alive and Evil Geniuses being able to contend because of that, we now find a world where Ethan's the only one contending versus Gen G. He has 13 frags, 11 deaths. The next closest, 6 in Cirque and Stan.
The saddest part of all is he's been the person to die at the beginning of the round a number of times so far, which has been a key component in allowing Gen G to win these rounds. A lot easier if your top fragger dies on the CT side in the first 3 seconds.
Tarek too. Just had a hard time over towards T-Con today. Cirque's gonna walk through smoke, does not expect Som to have already been outdoors. He just meandered into the bomb site. It was nobody's business. Stanislaw has his attention turned, and that's 2 frags versus unsuspecting targets. Tarek sprints through the fire. He's gonna lose a bunch of health for it, and nobody goes to the top of the train yard, so he can stop nothing. Bomb plant inevitable. 4 versus 3 advantage over top of the Scout and AK. You know that Ethan wants to save it, but automatic shuts down Tarek, so the Scout goes down. And this is double digits for Gen G on the T side of train, and we are only 13 rounds deep.
This might be a good time to plug the article that Stuchu just released, I think within the hour, on Gen G and their resurgence and of this team. Best way to find it, probably Twitter.
Stuchu. The man has a way with words.
He's got a piece called Chew on This.
I like that.
Yeah, a little food for thought piece. Okay,
another
3 to
piece,
10, and
sorry, may I?
Go. Yeah,
I've got a follow plug. Another piece actually kind of worth your time here would be. Everybody remembers Ryu. Well, he has a series called something along the lines of like the most coachable players that he's ever coached, and he has a good one on Kusta. So it couples nicely. When you're done your first piece, go read that too. You'll be a better person for it. But please, Mohan, continue.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll just start casting. Let's see. They have, it's this time Evil Geniuses are able to get the early T-Con control. I think I was only going to say that it doesn't feel like they're going to win the next 2 rounds this half based on how things have gone. They're already also at a disadvantage on utility. And Gen G really just haven't been giving up opening kills, which is very, very important to winning on either side. So let's see. Ethan's alone in ladder room. They are spread out into this default. So far, it's great so far for EG that they just haven't given up a kill. But would you look at that? Dap sees the rifle of a gun, and now he's between 2 Molotovs with no hope of living. And that's a really nice play for Gen G. Don't even have to show yourself.
Tarek turns attention back towards Ivy, just as Cirque picks up another kill on the forefront of this A site. Stan adding another to the tally. So I have to admit, I was right there with you. Didn't feel like Evil Geniuses were going to pick up either of these last 2 rounds, and there is still a world where they drop it because Som comes through smoke, doubles back close versus Cirque, and the sniper's going to get him. Kusta, 1 versus 3, 30 seconds, bomb on his back. And right now, he does have an open route towards the site. It's just Cirque he needs to deal with. But time's starting to become a real issue. Sprays down the Opper. Now over towards Old Bomb is where we do have Breeze moving in quickly. 60 health for him. Stan back behind Z. Kusta wants to go for the kills, and now he even has still time to plant. He's gonna get this in. Stan's walking outwards. Kusta, with a grenade in hand, rapidly doubles back. And like you said, on this outer yard, there's so many positions Tease can try to clutch from. And Stan could have wrapped back towards T-Con. There's a shadow advantage. Stanislaw goes high. He sees him. Hello. Goodbye. The USP from Stan's enough to get at least a fourth for EG.
Kusta could not have played that better. He just needed to hit the shot, basically. He took a bit too much damage on the first break because it was labored. The second one as well. If his HSP, that's where HSP obviously matters. The higher the HSP you have, probably the least damage you're taking, and mainly your first fights of the round. A good try by Som. Well, Som's kill, in fact, allows Kusta to get a free name tag on Cirque, who's sitting at health, and brings him into the round completely. So Stan, pretty fortunate to win this round with just that USP, and it looked like Gen.G were about to pull off a very legitimate 1v3.
How wild. It looks from Stanislaw's perspective in that replay, just like when we were seeing Kusta kind of hesitate to react, he didn't see him immediately when he climbed up the ladder. Almost flicked to clear close Olaf. But he got the crosshair back where he needed it, took the kill down, and that fourth round going to be so valuable if EG actually try and mount a comeback.
I think we need elite in chat for Bentet's score. It's not every day. It's not every day, Connor.
Elite crew, represent.
Straight on B, maybe? Bentet up front. This looks like the pistol setup versus the pistol take from Gen.G. They're double up, though. They've been good when they've been doubled up.
True enough. They've got bodies. Gonna start throwing them down the ramp here. Stanislaw eating some flashbangs. Cirque making Gen.G eat lead. Connects his op shot. Doesn't want to get too tunnel vision here. There are a lot of moving pieces for Gen.G, and there's always that threat that somebody walks up the top shelf. Now, Automatic gets the only kill thus far, and it's Stanislaw down as Ethan comes in, a fifth for Evil Geniuses. It was looking real dire, and it honestly still does, but at least they have this little bit of wiggle room to try and make that comeback happen. Whether they can do it is the question we have to ask ourselves. We'll all find out after the break.
Destiny written in your blood. Every single molecule knows that it's a part of you, growing from a seed of love. Only you know what you are, pieces of a falling star, water from above, driven by a pumping heart. And that's enough, that's enough. There will never
Welcome back, my friends. 10-5. Of course, the score line, and it was a fantastic T-side from Gen G. Lots of stuff to praise, but if we're going to praise Evil Geniuses for anything at all, it's got to be that resilience they showed us at the end of the first half. Closing out with a couple of rounds gives them enough wiggle room to work with. Can this performance from Ethan, 16-12 at the moment, be enough on a T-side? Time to find out. They head real strong over towards the Ivy, and Daps just gets steamrolled into the wall, body checked, and the counter terrorists, well, they're still stacked up on the A site, but seems like the T's may circumvent this. Oh, they could have gone through spawn, but they decide not to, and Kusta, he starts taking bodies. 2 frags for him. They don't expect Ben to double tap, and that's possibly that. Stanislaw, 1 versus 2, trying to keep Som pinned in here. Done.
That's a monster round from Bentet, man. That's crazy. And that's getting the 5v4, which you'd think was the first win condition for being able to wrap Old Bomb off this Ivy push. But the idea is to stay the biggest snowball possible and use the Glocks to gain ground. And I think they wanted to make it seem like there was an inner hit, but there was no pressure towards inner, so you know that they were going to commit that side, and it required them to frag out. I personally don't love it just because it feels like there's a lot of ways to die, and they even lost with the 5v4. But I'm sure when the strat looks great, it's amazing.
Little smoke spam's not going to do too much. Little aggression here from Kusta over towards T-Con, looking to really flex these SMGs, make that moolah.
So far, I'm not seeing as many holes, obviously, in Gen G's game. But I do think, like you mentioned, if Evil Geniuses had more rounds where they stayed up 5v5, just simply didn't die, they probably could have won at least 3 or 4 more rounds. Because it seemed like even in the 4v5s, they could come close, but Gen G were so good at pressing that advantage.
Come on now. Evil Geniuses versus the FAM is close. This is going to be one of the best chances they have at an opening in the round. And it doesn't seem to have gone too well. Nice little lineup. Automatic going to be happy. He picks up 2. Daps adding damage to Stanislaw. That one kind of felt personal.
What's the DreamHack Pick'em challenge called? Just that, DreamHack Pick'em challenge?
DreamHackPick'em.com.
There's the plug.
/results. Page 2. Find Scrawny.
Oddly specific, but I feel like you didn't make any of that up, knowing you. That's probably exactly what you do. So yeah, I feel like for people who have picked Gen G, they should feel probably pretty good about map 2, based on what we've seen so far. They didn't trip and land at 12 rounds. They earned them. They looked good. They did a lot of things fundamentally well, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down. Flash through, he was ready for it. Dodged the flash and everything. Stan just ends up winning straight up, and Daps gets caught on the lurk. So this is almost what EG were able, or it's what GNG were able to do to EG.
Hey, look at that kit. That kit got stuck on the shelf.
Yeah, an impossible to reach kit. You can't pick up kits with E. That kit will never be picked up for as many rounds that happen on train and for the rest of time.
What if he jumps off the ladder? Think maybe he could grab it?
I would like to find out.
I really want to find out.
To recreate the problem, you'd have to get someone to die falling in the same way, facing forward, so the kit goes forward as a CT, and then you'd have to try to jump in. I'm sure Reddit detectives could probably pull this off. I mean, hell, I have enough time to try to pull this off.
I'll meet you in the server after this.
Okay, why not? Why don't we just do this? Yeah.
Well, actually, I take back what I said. I really do want to find out if they can take it, but I really don't want to put in the effort.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. So let's just let bygones be bygones and let it slide away as we've got Gen G back in. Again, still just those 2 rifles, and it looks like they're not going to buy anything else. Oh, I spoke too soon. Little delayed purchase, but they get it all in.
Yeah, they figured it out quickly. Kusta goes for the scout. He's like, I'm fine scouting. And then everybody else buys around him. Well, it was a pretty good first round there for Evil Geniuses. See if they can recreate any of the pressure. We've got the 2 initial, like the first layer executes out, or smokes outside. And Tarek, man, he's coming through with the entries now. He really did have a tough time in that first half, but looks already a lot better.
Daps gets mollied out of position. Not going to be too threatening, but if they come down the ramp, then he could be blindsided. He is very much committed to the gunfight two-piece for Daps, and that kind of makes up the fact that Automatic goes down for free. Ooh, and Kusta, well, he just got that equalizing kill. So very quickly, Stanislaw is going to have to try and sprint over all the way from the ladder. Cirque doesn't peek right after the first time, actually buys a bit of time, and then that one catches Som off guard. Kusta jumps down, just swooping in wildly. He's got the kit, he's got the smoke, he's got the flash. If he just wants to underhand it, underhand the flash.
Wait a second. Neither of them are peeking. Oh, no one committed to the peek? Even though he dropped the smoke and they had two players with lots of life? I normally don't call situations like that because there's the psychology of it and it can be very circumstantial, but I'm really surprised that with him dropping, number one, the smoke, and the two players both pressed up in choke points with lots of health remaining, nobody peeked to even spam the smoke down. Kusta didn't have much of a play after he threw that nade, so you expect, since he's desperate, he might try to stick it. That's really surprising to me.
What? I still, oh my goodness, that's wild. Wild antics. All right.
Don't fake. We've seen so many stuck bombs this at DreamHack Masters. Famously, Crystal on the A site versus FaZe.
Sure.
I can't remember who it was. No, JW. Remember JW 1v1? He had the op on top of default, and Crystal jumped in and stuck it. Pros do not fake. Indeed.
Here's Kusta, though. Off of the train yard. Great flashbangs coming out. You saw those T's with their arms up. Ventet, headshot versus Breeze. Som inside of the smoke. Stanislaw may try to plant right here in front of him, so Som, that's an easy frag. Maintains the spray for the second headshot, too. All's good. Cirque, unable to answer back just yet, but with two players so low on health, oh, let's hope he can add some damage. Make this one close. No, sir. Just the first versus Ventet. Som's going to get it in. That's 3 frags for Som, stopping the bomb and getting Gen G to 14.
It would seem reasonable to entertain the thought that this could have been some kind of comeback, especially with how nice the first rifle round went for EG. But after that last round, I mean, if they had any confidence, it's probably completely depleted at this point. So Gen G should have an easy road to closing out this game. Evil Geniuses have a lot to prove to everybody watching and themselves at this point. And starting this round with Tarek at low HP and an initial trade, though. Goes both ways.
And then, bomb plant. All too easy. That one's not going to get stopped at all. CT's kind of posturing all around. Ethan's going to watch for the ladder flank, but what's that?
Kusta's going for the T-Con flank.
Yeah, it's a long route to take.
Extremely long.
Windy road. I hope it's scenic, because by the time he arrives at the bomb site, it could all be over. Cirque going to champion Som as he tries to fly through the smoke there. Automatic playing around with the op, and here comes Kusta in with the kill, but the bomb already so far gone. He's really gonna have to hope his teammates get moving, and obviously here they are on the save. So no, this one's not over just yet. Gen G still on 14, and EG having that at 7. 2 survivors for Evil Geniuses, though. That's an AK and Galil moving forward.
I imagine there was a discrepancy in the communication because Kusta was going for such a long flank that he could not be the primary piece of attack. They had to move along with a reasonably competent retake without him, expect him not to be there, but for him to come in once there's only like 1 player left and then maybe win the 1v1. That would have made sense. But I think Evil Geniuses had the back 6 smokes refreshed, and that called out Som's position, and the op behind it made it useless to be able to trade. So EG pull it off in the post plant. Gen G still squeeze out another buy. And also keep the op in play. Very low on grenades on this round. This kind of round you really want something aggressive to come out. It looks like they have actually, moved Kusta into T-Con. And there is a lot of pressure here around the perimeter of the map on the outside choke points, both at ladder and at Ivy.
Exchange a utility that gets Stanislaw a little bit closer. He's going to be flashed through the smoke. Som dodges the flash, hits the headshot, but can't quite get that kill. And even Bentet failing to land a single bullet. So Stanislaw, he's going to be parading over to the CT spawn. It's not as though he's going to pick up frags, you'd think, but it's at least such a distraction that Automatic has to come deal with it. Wow, great dink. Automatic down to 9. Still able to hold the line, but we do have Breeze flipping through. Daps with 1 frag finds him, and we've got that 1-man advantage now. Flex to the double. Tarek, all that's left, coming in through Z. And because the B site falls silent, you know these CTs are going to start looking behind them. We've already got Bentet posted. Tarek walking in unsuspectingly, caught by the M4. Gen G take 15.
For better or worse, I think Stanislaw pulling off that aggressive flank to the B site made things way too obvious. As we saw, it was communicated by Som he was dinked, and also spotted by Bentet he had crossed and then not seen Old Bomb as well. So Automatic knew pretty much the exact angle that Stan would be in and knew that he had low HP, and then that was probably going to be a B play because of his position. So a lot of information was traded, even though Stan got an opening kill and made so much ground, ironically.
What could be the final hurdle? Tarek's gonna get boosted on Stanislaw's head inside of ladder, just trying to peer outwards, but for now it's Gen G just welcoming them into this A site. Just one smoke from Evil Geniuses, and Gen G decide to respond with utility. It's low nades for EG, so they can't afford to waste too much. Automatic on the trains. We're gonna get this pressure now from EG. Good dig, Breeze. Moving through. Trying to get over towards Ivy, where Som's gonna have his head turned in 2 directions. Stanislaw with another kill off of just the pistol. This is Evil Geniuses trying their damnedest, but Daps doing the same. Damien Steele trying to crawl back through Z, and then goes rounding through the smoke. But Stanislaw, the difference maker, the playmaker. 2 Deagle frags in the round, and keeping EG alive.
They do. They keep them afloat for one more round, maybe. They had a nice, well, actually a couple, because Gen G don't have any money left over. So they'll force up, it looks like. I just saw a scout being bought and some half armor players down to 0. The responses made sense. There's 4 outside from Gen G. They saw a smoke being used, and as you pointed out, they didn't have many smokes to use. So it's like, okay, why this is a fake? We call it out now, or they commit, and we have a big advantage. Oh, come on, don't, not like this. They have Kusta push in with a 5-7 takedown, all the ladder presence, 3v3, and it might be the eco buyback for Gen G.
Oh my God, look at Bentet.
Wow.
He is almost inside of Breeze. Oh, he comes wide, sees the second. Further damage versus Tarek. Daps dropping down is going to be able to get that one. And now Cirque has to clutch 1v2. He turns his back and he's doomed. Gen G, insult to injury, dropping bombs with those pistols to close out on train. Kusta runs into the ladder room, just hoping that at least one player is going to face him. And he gets that double with the 5-7. Blonders. How did they lose on that round?
On the things you hate to see, that's at the top of the list. That's as much as I'll say. This is a 5-7 commercial by Kusta.
Beautiful stuff. We're going to be coming back with the second map, ladies and gentlemen. It's Inferno up next.
Flashbang's effective. They have got through the smoke wall here, but Chris J, he is the final boss of the bomb site.
Now Spitty and Chris J to keep Mouseballs alive. Oh, Chris! He's found 3. It's down to a 2-on-2. Chris, can he close this with an ace? Oh my God!
Can they actually close this out? Oh, Chris.
Fantastic way to start, and no scopes on him himself. Absolutely saving Mouseballs.
Hey, it's me, Lily from AT&T. I'm back, working from home, and here to help.
Hey Lily, I'm hearing a lot about 5G. Should I be getting excited?
Depends. Are you gonna want faster speeds?
I will.
More reliability?
Oh, also yes.
Better response times?
Definitely.
Are you gonna be making sourdough bread?
Oh, is that 5G related?
No, it's just like, why is everyone making sourdough now? But yes, you're gonna want 5G.
AT&T is building 5G on America's best network. Visit att.com to learn more.
the mats. Countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna light the fuse. We ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse. Come on, we ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse. Come on, we ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse.
Train may have been won by EG the last time these two teams faced off against each other, but Gen G took it into their own this time around as EG struggled to get things going. The synergy certainly not looking like it's there between all the players. Something is not hitting right. And going into map 2, we could be very concerned from the EG camp because they are going to have to bring out one stellar performance here because Gen G are looking hot to trot. And Launders mentioned it during the cast. We even saw Benta hit the elite numbers in the scoreboard.
Yeah, that was not a good showing by no means by AG. Looking at the CT side, it just fell completely apart. Tarek, normally a decent CT player on a map like Train, likes to be aggressive towards T-Main, likes to be aggressive towards Pop Dog. Well, he did try, but he ended up dying time after time. I believe his CT scoreline was 3 kills and 13 deaths, sorry. And that is simply not good enough if you're Tarek. Ethan was having a good game compared to yesterday. He was actually playing quite well. Got 16 frags, I think, on the CT side. He was the only player stepping it up, and EG got away with 5 rounds, but I think you and I, James, we also had the conversation that even 5 rounds was more than they deserved. Gen G was by far the best team in that first half.
They really were, and man, what a clutch from Kusta, that 1 versus 2, busting out all the moves and just really making EG look absolutely foolish. And that was kind of the storyline of this Train, the entire series, or entire map through and through.
And Potter, you looked at something for us with Gen G taking full control and abusing EG here. So let's look at that on the scoreboard with some more details.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on a round where Launders actually mentioned in the cast that Gen G did a great job keeping the 2 defenders inner. In the beginning of this round, we're going to have Automatic and Sam coming towards Ivy, and I like the Molotov because as you see, Cirque and Breeze, they were actually setting up to try to gain some Ivy control at this point. Now I'm going to fast forward. The key part of here is Gen G did a really fantastic job just pausing in those mid-round scenarios and really making Tarek, Ethan, and Breeze on this outside yard start sweating it out a little bit, start questioning where the hit is going to come from. Now, if you notice here, Stanislaw and Cirque, they're going to be towards this inner, and just take a look at Cirque's movements here. As soon as his team members call out that the utility is starting to come outside, the simple thing about Gen G's hit here is that it's very minimal amount of utility. Now, take a look at Cirque. He does a backtrack. Let me pause it here. He was actually going to start rotating towards the outside yard, but he stops, does a double take, and maintains this inner just for 2 seconds or so. But that's 2 seconds is all they need because at this point, Gen G, with no more utility to back them up, they're tight-knit together, making sure that they're 2 players in all of EG's eyes at all times, getting the trades out, and Sam waiting by this E-box, waiting for the defenders to start rotating out. If we go to these players' point of views, you're going to take a look at Tarek here. You're going to see how intense this scenario is and how many enemies appear on his screen. Same with Ethan. At every point of the way, every step of the way, Gen G made sure that the trade game was on point, and this sort of surprise attack, it really caught EG off guard.
Yeah, EG certainly couldn't handle that, and it happened time and time again. Gen G looking really hot going into Inferno, and I'm very worried for EG at this point. Pimp, what is the options here? Because we speak about Ethan and Breeze being able to work together like we saw last year. Something's amiss here still, that they're not working in the same way.
No, it seems like the synergy within the lineup right now is simply not there. Christine referred to this 1 versus 2 clutch. Kusta did as well. Nobody peeked out to check the bomb. Nobody were communicating properly. So something seems to be off when it comes to the communication and when it comes to the synergy, the players in between. That being said, though, moving over to Inferno, it's a map they're playing to a high level, right? They have a 75% win rate the past 3 months, and it has been the only stable constant, I'd say, within the EG camp as recently. So they're good on Inferno. The problem is they're facing Gen G right now. They're playing with confidence, and Gen G are also a well-playing team on Inferno. The past 2 games they've played, it's been against some of the best opposition in North America. They bested Furia 16-9, and they won against Cloud9 16-10 on the map on Inferno. So despite it being EG's map pick, Gen G are definitely more than capable of stealing this one away. And with the way they played on Train, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a 2-0, James.
Wow, so you've gone straight over from your thinking EG could win. Pip was cussing us.
Jen is right. Everyone is right. You know what, EG?
Thank you, Pip.
Whatever.
I like to hear it every now and again. And on that note, it's time for us to go to a break and get into Inferno straight after it. It could be 2-0 for Gen G unless EG pull off something huge. Let's get to a break and then we'll be back with the game.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're ready. Second map's coming up next between Gen G and Evil Geniuses. We're falling onto Inferno, and I don't know what's in store for us when it comes to Gen G, but after watching their textbook Counter-Strike there on the first map, I have to say, I'm excited to find out.
I think so, yeah. The stock of because their fundamental plays were so good, their stock has definitely risen in the series, and it answers a lot of people's questions as to how well they were going to play today. And we've learned a lot, unfortunately, about how well EG are going to play today. Now, I will say that I think the first half was so one-sided because EG struggled to keep Tarek and Ethan alive in the beginning of the rounds, and if they had not done that, expected maybe they'd have a better half. So I don't want to write them off in the whole series, and we still know they're competent on the 2 remaining maps. But so far, so good for Gen G, and honestly, there were so many great things to say about the way they played on Train. I would expect some of that to carry over into Inferno as well.
Well, I'm curious. I want to ask you about individuals. Just hit me with it. Is anybody either exceeding expectations or falling short of them in this series for you?
Yeah, I think definitely Tarek falling a bit short, but we know what he's capable of. But Bentet, to highlight a player, was the guy who was working alone, which I think just from a role perspective was the most interesting thing. He was getting sites all by himself, able to have high impact all the same, and give his teammates a lot of great communication. And we know he's great at communicating.
I think personally for me, I was quite taken aback by Daps's performance. There was times where he looked like Bentet, that both of those players would occasionally just sprint into that B bomb site very confidently, looking for duels, looking to take heads. All right, but here we go. Back into the second map, Evil Geniuses to the T side. Gen G looking to send them down into the 0-2 dumps of Group B. Cirque misses the apartments jump. Happens to us all.
One of the best some of the best movement in Counter-Strike. But sometimes the easiest jumps are the hardest. Pressure here in the halls. Moto smoke. It's fully commit.
Big bush off of it. Great flashbang. Ethan gonna lend the helping hand to Stan. That's a 2-piece off of the balcony. And with that 2K, it's over. Pistols won.
All about creating space. And Stan is one of the best entry fraggers out of balcony in the game. He used to do this with just like a UMP and be able to get 2 kills on the site. Real shades of Flusha with that UMP. A push in 3v5.
Yeah, not quite done, maybe. They do still have that kit, so I mean, there's a world where they get this defuse through, but there's still so many Glocks that are ready to rattle them. But yeah, I see what Daps does. No, go guys, I'll definitely come retake with you.
Yeah, and then here's where he tells his team how bad they are and how they just basically lost the round, and
he survives. They'll have that kit moved into the next one, but that's it. That's all.
Hey, we saw what the power of a kit did for a Gen G in that first game. Kusta,
very true,
sticking the bomb in the 2v1. But yeah, it's just great. Yeah, but it's just based on the positions here. There's not much you can do as the balcony guy. If you drop in a pit, the second guy from the T's jumps into pit to kill you. If you're still on the balcony, Stan kills you. If you're in the other side of pit, that's what everybody else is supposed to do to kill you. And so if one person dies, it's very likely the other person will too. And the flash is what ties it all together. So Eco set up here, anti-Eco, out towards Banana. CTs will be shied away. We've got the 3 smokes and saw him with a Mag 7. He is playing boosted in CT spawn, waiting for the smoke to get out. Kusa's actually got a shotgun as well. This could be very nice for. They could make a lot of money off this round. This could be a very lucrative round for Gen G.
Yeah, that shotgun crossfire, Mag 7 and the Nova. My eyes just can't be looking away from the B site because I want to see these shotguns. And I think we're gonna get it because Evil Geniuses, they feel at the top of mid, they grab that bomb and they're walking back. A smoke's gonna pop over towards CT, and that gets Psalm 1 step closer. Now, do take note, of course, Kusta has already lost half of his health, and he just now threw down a smoke grenade to delay this. So EG, either they double back at the 30-second marker, they're gonna have to run through. And oh no!
Oh wow, wow. And sometimes the smoke is a red herring. They want to call it out and say you're leaving the site.
Oh, they're gonna go right in. Kusta, he's actually just gonna burn to a crisp. Psalm had his head tucked. Shotgun good for damage. Tough to get it through though. Once we've done a little bit, Bentet, he's supposed to come in with a couple of kills, but only gets the 1. Stanislaw close gets deegged. Ethan with a little headshot, and Psalm's shotgun comes up short. That happens with the shotties at times. So Evil Geniuses, greatly done. They ran into the stack bomb site, but they got through the dangerous waters, and they convert for the 2-0.
See that Molotov? They throw a very important Molotov. It lands on the top of second oranges so that it spreads to both first and second, just in one Molotov. So they cover a lot of the close positions just with that single piece of utility, and that allows them to get in a lot more comfortably, completely neutralizing Kusta's spot on top of the flashes that come through in tandem. Now, the same kind of B aggression here on Banana. They push everybody back, which is what they want. They cleared this out. They showed us how they can win versus a nice stack up. And wow, Psalm through the guise of the smokes is able to still win that duel versus Stanislaw. I mean, wildly spraying on his way to fall back to Emo, but gets the kill regardless. He's still alive in the site. The bomb's still at A ramp, but look at the pressure from the B players right now. They think he's alone or something.
There's a player boosted. This is a very big chance for the CT to come up with kills, but Automatic doesn't seem to fire back. And because of that, it is 4 survivors for Evil Geniuses. Another round here where we had enough of a defense, despite the lackluster weaponry, to almost start believing. However, Evil Geniuses tear through it yet again, getting through near unscathed. Only Stanislaw to the wayside. Couple pistols back down Banana in case Evil Geniuses do retreat this way, but that's the 3-0 start they'd hoped for.
It absolutely did get scary there on the B side because of the double setup in spawn with Som still alive. The flash that bounced off the wall, unfortunately, is a big tell for the Ts that are coming up. And I guess because they had enough people watching, they were maybe aware of the thought that Gen.G might try something like that. So they covered all of their positions, which is ultimately what's the most important thing. Sometimes rocking it back is really dangerous because you don't know what the CTs have pushed. So they decided to commit. Bomb came up a little late, which was also a bit nerve-wracking, but ultimately it worked out just fine. Now Cirque's over it. Mid. Som is trying to spot and get some pressure going on Banana. This time they're going to fight a bit more adamantly about it. But look at this. Arch is wide open. Daps does some good residual damage. Comes down to Library and Pit. And Bentet's already lighting it up.
Yeah, good damage there. Gets back his M4 spray. Automatic just at the end of the magazine. Gonna find the back of Cirque. Ethan decides to bomb plant. It's him and Breeze, who's currently inside of the pit, trying to throw out his utility. Ethan gonna do the same, trying to soften them up towards Arch, and those smokes are fresh. Kusta coming in short, completely denied. And Som, well, he takes the high road over towards the top of the scooter. Ethan, what's your play? He's gonna go to the top of the box, cuts off Som, and because of the reload from Automatic, he knows what he has to expect. Hold this line. Goodbye. Ethan closing the round, and EG take 4.
Ferocious play by Ethan. So nicely done. 7-0, I think, so far in this game. And as we see, there was great damage done by Daps first on lane, then Bentet from the pit, killing the Arch players. Automatic even gets a kill through the smoke in the library. And you'd think that would be enough for Gen.G. If they held the line with one more player on the site versus whoever came out of halls, that would have been a wrap for sure. But EG, off the back of Ethan's huge play, makes up for all of that great damage in the early rounds. And, oh wow. Beautiful shot by Kusta. He was definitely, he's not looking foggy today. You know, he was looking really very not swift foggy about his decisions. Yeah, in the clutch situations. He's clearly got a bunch of clarity of mind right now. So we'll hope he acts on that more, because some of those clutches were fantastic to watch. We see the aim come into play as well.
It's a strong start, but it's not the first 4 versus 5 Evil Geniuses have fought back from. Also, good pistol play coming out of Gen.G today. They closed Train on a pistol round, and they've opened up some of these ecos with big frags as well. Now, Tarek, he's been sniffing out mid, and he doesn't like what he smells. Although, he can't get it out of his head. Kusta peeks out a second Juan Deeg here in round 5.
From the window. Oh, Daps wins that with a CZ. This should be a write-off. They're going to go for the boost one more time.
Well timed. Som's going to go ahead and try and pressure it. Automatic. Boosted within. Gets the 1 as well. Cirque, a straight-up 1 versus 5 versus pistols. He just wants the bomb plant. He's trying to write this one off, and he's not even going to find that. Gen.G have no business winning this round. But Kusta has other ideas.
Well, they've been shooting their shot every single eco round and bringing it close. And eventually, the B pressure works out. There's definitely a couple of unfortunate frags that go down here, catching a timing at mid. The alt flank that ends up being a labored spray from whoever was in alt. You can only see it from the minimap clearly. That took a bit too much time. And yeah, you win that many trades. Ultimately, you're handing the round over to the CTs, even though they have worse guns. Kusta once again, top of Banana. Wow, great information gained and a good nade to slow down the pressure. He does so much damage here. His teammate falls back and stays alive. That's what's most key. Now, there is a mid trade that goes down simultaneously, and I think, I'm not sure who answered back, but it was just Tarek to get his kill, I suppose. But look at the health remaining on Breeze and Stanislaw. They could be blown over right now. A shot in the toenail would take him down.
Automatic's just got the slight gap, and he's extending into it now. Cuts off the tail end. Isn't able. Now trying to combine with Taric. Taric still 0 frags here on Inferno. Smoked off, iced out of the apartment, so he can't actually split into the bomb site. Meanwhile, Som, he's starting to collect information towards Banana. And EG
Actually,
going quiet.
I actually really love how they're jumping off the sandbags to get information that helped Kustas play so much. And the fact that they continue to pressure on B. Oh, they're actually worried about Arch. You saw that from Som. He's not going to rotate too early because he doesn't know if they're splitting, but now he'll push down. And they're taking a long time to get to the site. Bentet might be able to get some assistance soon.
Thing is, it's the bomb carrier who has the low HP. Taric unable to trade so far. Bentet down to just 7 health, but Taric walks right into Som. I was thinking to myself, because of Taric wanting to stay alive on full HP, it makes sense for him to be the pit player, but that puts Stan in such a rough spot where all we had to see from Bentet was a single bullet landed, bombs dropped, and then, of course, Taric's compromised, and it all unfolds exactly like that. So Bentet doing a good job of just staying silent, creating uncertainty in the minds of EG, and now creating economic problems as well. A round slips through because of those pistols. Gen G able to convert for 2, and this should be the 3rd. Daps very confidently just going to walk out into alt mid. He is not afraid of what he knows to be a light buy.
Surely, it's the mental aspect that's the thing holding EG back the most. Flashes here as they push up. Som could have a great eco cleanup, and he in fact gets 2, will stay alive, allow his teammate to help with the crossfire, and he doesn't have to fight anymore.
Nope, it's going to be Stan's responsibility. Him and Breeze, all that's left. P250 and a Glock, automatic. Going to miss an op shot. He will be pressured close. Som doesn't want to die here. 4 HP, minute on the clock. Eventually, the banana flank's going to come in, and by the time it gets here, it seems like another gets shaved off. Daps down, and now it all fell to Stan, but Automatic's had enough. Comes in with the 2K spray down. That's a 3rd for Gen G, now within 1 round of tying at 4.
I agree on that rifle round. You're splitting hairs to try to figure out who was the better team. There was good plays made on both sides, you know, pressing out with the low HP play, the 2v2. But Gen G, I think, fighting for banana control was what triumphs everything. And I like that they continually do that into these rounds without actually committing players to the bottom of banana. I like how they're using the half wall just to spot for the early round pushes. And then once they do that, they seem content moving back in after all the dust is settled. There we go. Som pulling off that jump spot once again. You obviously risk getting shot out of the sky. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that once this half. But if they win 3 rounds because of it and lose 1, it's worth it.
Ooh, dangerous games being played here on Banana. CT's inside of fire, spamming down, and Stan extends into Kusta. Sure enough, there is a smoke to immediately respond, so no hyper aggression from EG, but they've left bomb back, so that's not their plan at all.
I think that was Kusta's smoke actually just dropped on place instead of going to the bottom of banana. But it worked because he was standing in the middle of, yeah, it's fine. Actually helps them delay a little bit. Bomb will still have to be collected again, and it does benefit the T's to just wait a little bit, see where the rotations are going to go. And then once they know where the rotations will go, then they try to game it one more time, or just hit the site they think is a bit more vacant. Here, there's a full rotation for Gen G into B, so they might be okay with this. They're both committed within smokes as well.
Taric's flash, gonna signal the hit. Daps still inside of the smoke, Som on the back site, now swinging wide as Daps. He gets the kill and great damage versus Stan. But that 1-man advantage has been filtered through to the B bomb site. Smoke to meet the op, then you constantly get that voice in the back of your head. Do we save this? They've got the incendiary, but they have no clue if there could be that potential A flank. So a man disadvantage here is starting to pressure them. Really feeling it, but looks like they may go for this. Flashbang first and foremost. Molly hits the mark. There's Bentet birding Stan out. Now they've just got to move past Banana. The T is very much inside of the site. Bentet clothesline, sidelined, and automatic trades. But it's the bomb that has the last say, and therefore 5 rounds for EG.
And Breeze ends up dying with it. So the op is the only thing that gets saved this round, and Gen G are the team that lose, but they are also the only team with a player alive. The buy is actually terrible here for EG. They're going to have very low grenades or Galils with grenades. So overall, not a bad round for Gen G. It's 4-5 to start things off. It's a great execute into the site from EG. The hold is pretty decent. You know, they go 2 for 2. It's just not an. It only leaves it 3 for 2 after that opening frag, and they end up getting 5 kills. You know, the utility advantage in this round.
Ooh. Two-man boost. They see one over smoke. I mean, they're putting themselves in such a dangerous position to go for that. You know how many grenades and spam can come flying up banana. You could argue they're lucky to be alive. But at the same time, it almost worked. So I respect it, although I fear it. So Kusta's gonna come back in, not shying away whatsoever. Trying to labor the trade frag, but it works. And now Automatic, he can just serve as an anchor with the off. Molotov on short, that's gonna prevent anybody from EG from hitting the site. You see that rotate coming over quickly.
Look how beautiful this is. They even have another Molotov. They smoked halls because they pushed banana. They already have rotated one over. And they have a crossfire.
Finds it. Yep. First kill's his. Daps ready to receive. We see the back turn because Tarek has to fixate on Pit, but there's still the chance. Breeze and Cirque combining
Rotation,
for 3
bomb.
frags. Puts Automatic in a weird one. He's going to come up from short. Remember, Breeze, he's just tucked inside a graveyard, so at any moment he pops up and just blows Automatic away. Automatic actually on the site, still not spotted till now. And sure enough, it's the whack-a-mole in Breeze to get the round finished. Good job by Evil Geniuses. I mean, you called it out. The utility on the apartments, the incendiary to keep them back, but at the end of the day, you can't stop headshots. And that's what these two put together.
No, I mean, mechanically speaking, you know, EG were superior in this round. They took apart a crossfire, but I love the round from EG. I mean, from Gen G, excuse me. Like, I love how they played it for information. The rotates out early. The fact that they peaked half wall after all of that stuff went down allowed them to smoke halls at the perfect time, re-molly lane at the perfect time, no wasted utility whatsoever. And yeah, if they play that round out 10 times, they win 8 or 9 times, right? Like, that's a very hard situation for EG.
Yet they prevailed, and that's going to be huge for them. Trying to post up numbers, but Kusta. Kusta?
Brother man Kusta.
Me gusta Kusta.
Me gusta Kusta.
Because that is a thing of beauty. And it's not just that he's done it once or twice in this round. No. He does it 3 times throughout this second map already. And he basically won the first map because of the 5-7 play. So stop giving this guy's guns. Keep him on the pistols.
Keep him on the pistols for sure. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's been smart in the 1vx's. He's been on point with the rifles, with the pistols. Psalm could. Oh, I don't even know. Oh, that's not great for Psalm, actually. Yeah, the flank comes in. This lurk works out quite well here for EG and Breeze. In the midst of the action, he's been great on low numbers to tip the scales in favor of EG.
Kusta's going to have to walk away with this one. Awesome Deagle play towards Banana, but even with his 3K to start the round.
They really blew that for Kusta, for sure. Yeah, he got 3 kills on Banana at the beginning of the round. And look at where all his teammates died. They could have easily... I mean, I was actually talking to Automatic about specifically this, and he dislikes when people say you shouldn't push when you have the man advantage because you won't necessarily win. This might be a great example of that. You know, just because Kusta gets those 3 kills, they still don't have any rifles to help them out. The A side is particularly weak. But
sure enough,
I think the main criticism for me is that they weren't playing in tradable spots. Because if they played in tradable setups that were aggressive, then they whittled down slightly better. Whereas where they died, they weren't in a good spot. And this is also 5v2.
I do feel for Psalm, though, in that moment, because he had just let a player slip by to Graveyard.
That's
true. He would have found him, except for he got flustered by the second player that comes around Arch, so he sprints with his knife out, trying to get away from that second threat, walks unsuspectingly into the first one. But, oh boy, we have got aggression coming out of Gen G, trying to throw Kusta back behind the logs. That one's going to cost them. And Evil Geniuses, who already have a 4-round advantage here on the T side of Inferno, they're not slowing down at all. We've got the big showing from Breeze so far, something like 14 frags. Bentet's in from Pit, and he's able to stop Tarek first and foremost, but there's a lot more bodies here inside of the apps. In fact, 3 players for Evil Geniuses, and they're met by a smoke, so they stop.
Almost caught him halfway through a mag. They're able to find that trade. Great counter flash to use versus the Halls pressure, and it's a reset of the situation. But again, when they go back late round to Banana, they've got Automatic here, who is sprayable. He could actually, he'll definitely die if he misses. Okay.
But it seems he doesn't. At least not the first shot. Still being pressured by Stanislaw. I like the aggression here. Could have actually caught out Automatic had he been entirely alone, but now he's got a CT to try and come help. Automatic missing shots. And that thin sliver of cover is not going to keep him standing for much longer. Anybody who peeks CT is supposed to die to the op, but Som drops Cirque, Breeze, late trade still, it's there for them. Health disadvantage isn't going to stop Stan. He's ready for Daps. Brings it back. 3 kills for the in-game leader of EG. 8 rounds for the team.
Well, it's good to see EG fragging hard. Look at Breeze's score right now. He's up to 15 frags. Stan getting all of these critical positions, even calling out this smoke frag. In the mid round, it looks like EG are just taking a significant kind of tailwind and finding all of these really important openings. I like Som's trade there in construction. I think he saves his teammate from dying. Daps, who's rotating through CT, was probably screwed with an off that far up. So it seemed a bit risky to whittle down numbers, but I think it made sense. Another attempt at B control. Ethan's really, really low, but I think fortunately for him, it's the Molotov that gets the kill. Still 4-4 situation. I continue to be a fan and to subscribe to the pressure that Gen G are applying to Banana. But look
Awesome
at these
play.
kills. Yeah.
Just perfect. You know, there was that pressure going down on Banana, and you were correct. It was the Incendiary that killed Kusta. A tick later, and there's a world where his spray down, you know, it was spot on versus Ethan. You see it do 96 damage, so he could be dead. But all the while, Evil Geniuses not shying away from an aggressive stance. Once they lost Banana, and as that fight unfolded, you know, our eyes drawn to the gunfire as it should be. It's actually over towards the A site that Breeze had postured in mid. We got that flash over towards Pit. Quick hit. And I feel for Bentet, he never had a chance.
Yeah, it was quite unpredictable from EG, because I think while all this information is being corroborated that there's Banana control at the beginning of the round, they're definitely not expecting a straight up mid hit to turn lane. So they drew the fights, and then they split the defense. Daps update. Daps had 43 enemies flash in the first half. We've learned that that is a very good statistic of train, much more than the EG total. Whoa, we've
How much
actually
is much
seen.
more?
I think anything is the EG. I think any number, even if it's only one, that's insane.
Sure.
Because that's all of EG.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I agree with you.
That's
Still
crazy.
very impressive.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say one more is much more. You know, I want to
Much
know
more than all 5.
Yeah, you know, numerically, if it's 43 to 42, that's not much more.
It's
only
much
one
more. It's only, but that's
much
true,
more
but-
individually, but not. You know, I'm basically looking for a reason to rag on EG's lack of flashbangs. How do you let one guy outdo
Yeah.
your whole team?
I think he has more than all their whole total. Is that's what I'm understanding?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay.
We find ourselves locking horns under the
I
pedantic
don't understand.
aspect.
I think semantics. Okay.
Pedantic semantics, and Som's ready for it. But hey, he only gets the one because Cirque's quick on the trigger. Cirque apparently thinks he has a shotgun. Runs up and wants to blow Kusta away. He has his teammate get the job done for him. Just the pistols for Gen G. So, I mean, we could have kept arguing all round long. We wouldn't have missed too much. But we bring it back. Double digits for Evil Geniuses. This is really cool. I think it's great to see each of the teams performing strong T-sides on their own map choices.
Definitely. Stan's unpredictable calling is something that his teammates have said about him. He interviewed Rush. He said that Stan's one of the most unpredictable callers he's played with, and really appreciated that style of CS. And when a game is hard to read, you know, you use too many nades in the beginning, or you don't use enough nades when you need to. It's great from a conditioning perspective to be able to say that your calls are unreadable. And I think we saw a great example of that on that Banana pressure plus split up lane. And overall, EG, they've won a number of ecos pushing into Banana. They've won a lot of the late round situations with the 2v2s. They won a situation where they were down 2v5. Sorry for the odd wording. Semantics update. At the time, EG had around 20 to 25 flashes when Daps had 43. So is that by the end of the game they had 20 to 25 flashes and Daps had 43?
I think it's really cute that you apologized, Elliot, but please don't feel the need to, my friend. Your stats have been spot on, and it's just me being me.
But I think that confirms to you that that's also
it does confirm
way more,
it is much more. Yes. If it's somewhere near 20, I consider that much more.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. But it's even crazier when you extrapolate that to like that's 20 to 25 between all 5 of them. Yeah, that's like, how is that possible?
Just Daps things.
Crazy.
And you know what? He did that yesterday too on Train. I feel like he had, at one point, he had almost more flashes than ADR.
Right.
Look at
that's
Daps.
Right. Yeah.
He's ready to add some ADR because he just saw 3 players walk away, and he gets the back of Taric turned easily. Now, he's on a bit of a cycle because of the Molotov, but it works. Yeah, for him to tuck into the cover there, he could have been dead, but away he goes.
He read how he was going to be hunted down to perfection. Oh, nice shot from Automatic as well. I would love for Gen.G to get this because I feel like they definitely have more to show on the second half. But I'm glad to see EG really turning up, looking so much better than map 1.
Yeah, giving us a competition. I want that close series. We said this one was kind of split down the middle. Breeze, what more do you have in the tank? He's got his bomb back. He's going to go ahead and plant that on Library side. There's a player close sight already coming up, and that's going to be that. Bentet finishes this one. Gen.G with a 4th round. Now, what we had on Train was near a mirrored image of exactly what's unfolding here, okay? Evil Geniuses on 10 rounds, just like Gen.G were, and Gen.G now winning the closing rounds just like EG did. Remember, they got their 4th and 5th at the very end of the half. Same thing could happen here for Gen.G.
To me, it's a bit of a different game, though, when we look at what the second half could be, because I feel like Gen.G are playing much better than EG were last map. So we'll see if any of that translates to their T side. That's a different question. But right now, again, from a fundamental perspective, they're doing so many things right. So I just think EG are just on another level of fragging out right now. Breeze in particular in these mid rounds is where it gets scary for Gen.G. And we have seen Gen.G blow a lot of man advantage situations in the past. So it feels like that's a recurring problem, even though on Train, one of the most fantastic aspects of them was their ability to turn a 5v5 into like a 5v0 sometimes pretty consistently. So the Halls control here taken for Evil Geniuses at the top of the 15th. Bombs still drop back and spawn, and for the first time, I think in the whole half, Gen.G have decided not to fight for banana control. Except they're pretending that they are. They're drawing out some grenades here, and it looks like they're reclaiming mid at the very same time. But it looks like it's all a feint. You know, they don't have information at mid. They actually don't have information at B. This holder rotates quite a bit, but what site becomes more appealing for EG? That's the big question. 5v5 is always a scary one.
Couple flashes in for Kusta. Som's gonna peek wide with it, and can't manage the FAMAS. Ethan, he just tucked there behind the wooden wall. Denied him his opening frag. Stanislaw off of the smokes is going to go ahead and try to create space, trying to suss out what's up here on the B-bomb site, and Stan's hitting form. Bentet in the meantime, he's got a double headshot, but yeah, that's a weird one. I feel like they got both bomb sites at the same time, and at the end of the day, frags matter most. So it's not the 10-5 we maybe expected. It's an 11th for EG. Join us after the break for the second half of Inferno.
on my way. Cause to catch a bad vibe when you're in my some might play, but I don't wanna rush and make mistakes. And she don't care about the money, she don't wanna be a star, she just gives me good loving, yeah. So I keep her in my heart, yeah. Cause if we keep it in the moment, yeah.
Let's go, baby.
No longer as close as could be. An 11-4 score. Excellent showing here from Evil Geniuses, not just as a team in their decisions and whatnot, but honestly just individuals, man. Breeze, where were you on map 1? It's good to see you, buddy. 18-6 at the current moment, and you can see his confidence boiling over the brim as he sprints down mid into the line weight of Daps. Daps snaps with just one. Bentet able to trade back down Banana. So this is a bit of a trap here. Storm, he's getting drawn into what these CTs want. He gets them both, though. I take back what I said. That is certainly not what they wanted.
I don't think, yeah, you weren't wrong, though. They definitely were like, oh, well, let's push while Storm is still on this angle. We know exactly where he is, and they couldn't win their fight. So I think you're on point with that one. Yeah, at least stand in a very tough spot. I mean, he can't even go for this. He's going to try to catch Psalm, who's no longer present, and work on this dry run and B retake.
So Gen G with a second pistol, or rather, the second pistol.
The second pistol. My hopes are high, honestly, for a good half. I don't. Thing is that you can't really count on EG tapering off when they're playing well, because before the match starts, EG are on paper the favored team, but because of this skew towards recent results, you can't really anticipate what's going to happen in Counter-Strike these days. It makes it hard to comfortably say EG. But yeah, because of that uncertainty, I feel like there is still hope here for Gen G to even win this map, even though it's quite a steep scoreline to come back into.
It'll be a good test of their resilience, something that you always want to see improving for younger, unproven rosters. These guys do have a LAN underneath their belts, but still, you know, it's early days in comparison to, say, the side of EG. They've been around the world and back again. A few times.
Sometimes it's nice to hear the birds. Makes you feel like you're gaming until 5 a.m. and you realize you've got to go to sleep because the whole world is starting without you. Did I say it was nice?
Yes. Very nice. I'm from the countryside, Mohan, so it was very hard for me to move to the city because all of a sudden, the outdoors landscape, you know, I was used to growing up with like grasshoppers and frogs and crickets in the middle of the night, and then you get traffic and people and drunkenness, and it's not quite the same. But hey, hold on. There are pistols paying off. This was not supposed to be the round that happened because it was a full gun round. So maybe I shouldn't write off EG so quickly. They have suddenly turned this right back into a discussion of Counter-Strike and a discussion as to what the heck has happened. Gen G, they've taken damage on their last two players as well. There's still some utility for the counter-terrorists to try and make this retake happen. Grenade goes deep, misses the mark, 15 seconds. Someone's gonna have to plant.
Yeah, they can still, you know, they can still cover this plant on coffins, but they would love to get a kill. And Ethan calls it out. Wow, they peek behind the fountain too. They probably should have tried to go for the coffins plant, but yeah, the wall bank through the fountain. Oh my gosh, yeah, maybe it is unfair to call that there's a chance they could come back. This was a very, very nicely played eco round by EG. I mean, they pushed their utility to the limit here. Every single player was flashed on their way in. The Molotovs didn't come out for Gen G, and you contrast that with EG's anti-eco, where they had the full execute into stacks, and they were able to win because they used their utility much better.
Good spray by Ethan. Didn't look great at the start, but still manages to whittle away HP from the other players. Tarek back in behind oranges. Still half a mag. Looking great. Sure enough, Bentet overwhelms. Has to go for the reload. Cirque putting his head on a pedestal, but he's still able to manage. 13 rounds for Evil Geniuses, and this one could be over pretty quick.
Yeah, don't know. Did they try to buy? They had upgraded some pistols because I think they've only got 2K. I can't actually tell if they were some dinks involved, but yeah, it looks like they still have they'll have the money next round. Wow. They're going to give it their best shot. Yeah, it's just a full climb back.
Really going for it last round, and it wasn't even elaborate. Buy gun, run fast. Again. Same attempt, different location. Stanislaw and Breeze gonna rip it all apart. Bentet single Glock kill, and that's all they should be working with, seeing as it's vanilla pistols. 14th round for Evil Geniuses. Sure, they lost this second pistol, but they are right back on track, 2 away from extending this into a realm of uncertainty on Vertigo.
Breeze hasn't had to do much from his amazing first half performance up to 19-7 in the game so far. And we've got, I mean, everybody is fragging to some extent. Nobody's really lagging behind that heavily. Nades on both sides of mid. Lots of pressure here applied by EG. A bit light on the A site at the moment, but Gen G don't have any plans to attack it just yet, so it's a bit of a stalemate. And when all the dust settles, it'll be EG who have bottom banana control. They still have the 5v5. But it looks like Gen G have done a good job on conservation with their grenades. They've still got a lot of smokes left over. 5, in fact, all of them, to try to re-exec, take map control back. But they don't have Molotovs for banana.
Smoke fades towards ramp. Cirque now understanding that the peak could come in. He shoots the knee of Som, and that's going to activate Tarek from the corner. Now they're not going to want to linger around with that one. They don't really have the utility to get Som out of his corner, and there was still that op at a distance to give cover. What they do decide to run is Daps around from Arch. Oh, but it doesn't seem to have worked. He comes through the smoke and is met by death. 4 standing tall here for Evil Geniuses. Automatics back trying to pick up bomb, and this one has fallen short. We are talking 10 map points for EG.
I think this is the very tough part, is that if you want to not take banana control early and you save your grenades, then they're not going to use a lot of grenades to defend it, and then they're going to have Molotovs on the retake. You're kind of counting you're kind of counting how much goes back and forth. And for EG, they put a little bit more into it, but they also got a lot of map control out of it. And Gen G ended up using their Molotovs, which would have been a key part of retaking, just to get them to use more grenades. It wasn't an equal exchange from that perspective, and that's why EG came out ahead. So I think if Gen G held nothing, then they might have had a better chance at getting to the bottom of banana, but EG would have had even more utility left over than what we saw.
Let's see if they can run it back. It's a long comeback, and it's not looking too good. Breeze just doesn't let off the gas pedal, comes in on the flank, shuts down the bomb carrier. So even with a successful entry from Kusta and Som at B, they've lost what they needed most. Som is able to come back and recuperate it, but Breeze going to be exchanging smokes. Kusta even keeping that B site clear, so Som, he's just going to have to fight for his life, and he goes down. Kusta now 1 versus 2 situation. He's going to be given a little bit to work with here. Eats the flashbang, walks into Breeze, and takes him down. So it's the second for Kusta, keeping Gen G rolling. He almost did everything that round. A sexy 4K from Kusta to give them a chance.
Very limited information. You see how he holds the angle on that second kill as well, even realizing what side would be peeked from. That was just sick, man. I don't even know if Breeze's angle was unfavorable, but he didn't shoot a bullet, so he must not have been able to see anything. Another beautiful clutch from Kusta, and he's still looking like he's got it.
And they're just going to run this one back. Again, just trying to charge up banana, trying to hit that B bomb site. Ethan dropping nades and mollies.
Man, these guys are really kind of all-inning a banana almost every single round. Look how quickly they have decided to kind of change their plans up, which is never a good sign. If 5 players go to 1 choke point, that means they wanted it. If they play a 4-1, then you might think they're leaving their options open, because that would be the sustainable way to do so. But here, this is when they're like, oh crap, banana didn't work, maybe we should go back to A.
At least keeping eyes on the possibility of it. It also reminds me to what we saw sometimes on, say, the outer yard of Train, where they would go for the massive clash, they'd get into the 3 versus 3, and then they just fall silent. But Tarek cheats the kill versus Daps. Som basically taps Cirques off away. Breeze in with a single kill. Stanislaw dropping the bomb now. 4 versus 2 advantage, but Gen G are trying to wrap around through the arch side. Automatic. Gonna have to put in some manual labor. He's got a player down mid ready for him. This is Ethan posted up. The first target in the 1v4. And Automatic drops that one, but Breeze, quick swing. And Evil Genius's quick comeback. Map 2 is theirs in the back pocket, and that's going to extend us to the third. Man, seeing that both of these teams are currently 0-1 in the group, this matchup means a lot for their chances to at least get through, let alone take that top playoff spot. So a lot hinging on our next matchup. We're just going to leave that one there. We'll be back after a break with the analysts and then Vertigo.
Hey, it's me, Lily from AT&T. I'm back working from home and here to help.
Hey Lily, I'm hearing a lot about 5G. Should I be getting excited?
Depends. Are you gonna want faster speeds?
I will.
More reliability?
Oh, also yes.
Better response times?
Definitely.
Are you gonna be making sourdough bread?
Oh, is that 5G related?
No, it's just like, why is everyone making sourdough now? But yes, you're gonna want 5G.
AT&T is building 5G on America's best network. Visit att.com to learn more.
anything you can do, I can do better, EG say, as they take Inferno in style for themselves. 16-6 was the final scoreline, but it looked a lot more like the old EG that we were used to seeing. Breeze and Ethan up top, Serp delivering, and Stan still able to deliver his master plan. But they've still got to be able to do this on Vertigo. But before we get into that, let's talk all things Inferno, because it looks like Gen G were just lost. I'm shocked.
Yeah, that wasn't looking good, Christine. I don't know. I want to give props to EG for playing a super solid Inferno. I want to give props to Breeze. I think he's a stunning player. I think he was awful on train. He didn't do anything good. He was sitting at 10 frags throughout the entire train game, and then he comes into Inferno and he plays like he's the best player on the server. That takes quite some mental reset, I guess, and he's just such a solid player. He was constantly being annoying, constantly being dangerous in the clutches, and was winning a lot of the rounds for Evil Geniuses. I felt the game in the beginning was much closer than the scoreline suggested, but at the later stages of the game, there was one team on the server, and that was EG, no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, on the Gen G side of things, sure, Breeze, he was popping off. He finally entered the series and was not willing to just let it go. But Gen G, in that last round on Inferno, it kind of illustrated the breakdown in the win conditions on this Gen G side. On train, if we look back, they were in the power of numbers, the pack, the trade game. All of these were top tier. Going on to this Inferno, Som, he gets a pick at Arch, gets a really nice one tap on Cirque with that AWP. And then at that moment, Automatic splits to the Arch. Som splits to lane side by himself. And that trade game, it just breaks down in that moment. I just think Gen G, maybe it was a breakdown of communication. Maybe at that point they just thought, we're going to probably lose this map anyways, on to Vertigo. I'm not sure what it was, but I would have loved to see Gen G fighting through to the end.
Yeah, and that's what was lacking, right? It was almost like they gave out, they run out of steam, but they've still got one more map to play now, and it is going to be Vertigo. And this is an interesting one because both teams, right, have mixed results on it. It's slightly more favored if you look statistically when it comes down to what EG have to offer, but as we know, with all of this craziness we've seen, the stats aren't really all that important, Pimp, when it comes to it.
No, because Gen G have played it quite a lot, and they've lost quite a lot, sure. Only have won, 20% of the Vertigo games, which is not necessarily, impressive by any means, but the losses they've had have all been very competitive. The games have all been very close. That gives you the insight that at least they play the game, at least they play the map to a relatively high level. Whether that's going to be enough against Evil Genius when Breeze is playing like he is, when Ethan is playing like he is, I doubt it. And I think, the biggest problem for Gen G right now is the fact that they need that X factor, right? They need the Benta to come in and take over a game together with potentially, could be Automatic with the AWP, but someone gotta be that sidekick to him. If they're not stepping it up, I think Breeze and Ethan are too much for them to handle, and that's what Christine said as well coming into this one. When those two are playing well, not a lot of teams in the world can touch EG, and that's just the way it is. They are superstar players in the world. Problem is for them, they haven't been consistently playing well, so we don't really know what's gonna happen on Vertigo.
Now, Potter, when it comes to this, right, me and you were in this Gen G camp, but what do you think is the must-needed thing other than just the players performing? Because when I look at what EG have right now, it's the momentum I'm going to be scared of.
Definitely so. The last time I saw Gen G approaching Vertigo, it was once again that very slow, methodical style, approaching the map and kind of letting the CTs, the defenders, react and picking them off in a very default manner. And this requires a lot of communication. It requires minimal mistakes from your players. And I think right now, Gen G, after this Inferno, they've got to wake up and they've got to realize exactly what their win conditions are and approach this Vertigo in that manner. And if they do this, again, I think they have a better and stronger Vertigo than EG does.
Ooh, well, Pimp, you flip-flopped on us and went for the 2-0 towards Gen G. Now where are you sitting, mate? 'Cause you like to change your mind.
Yeah, I think EG is going to win, no doubt. I mean, they have been far been the better team. No, I don't know. Let's be honest. The North American team right now is in a horrible state. None of the teams seems to find consistency. Maybe apart from Fury and up until this point, I'd say Gen G was somewhat consistent as well. I don't know what to expect. If EG are playing up to the level that we know they can, if EG are playing just maybe 80% or 70% of what they did here in Inferno, I think they should be the favorites to win. That being said, though, and I know they say that a lot, Gen G can easily win as well. So I'm gonna stay out of this one, James. You know what? I'm gonna let the North American team play it out the way they want to, and whoever wins, and whoever loses will lose. How about that?
Me and Potter, we know what's going on. It's Gen G all the way. Pimp, you can flip-flop all you want, but what we do know is not to trust you because we stick to our guns at least. It's time for us to head to a break. We got Vertigo coming up. And even Pimp wants to go to a break now. He doesn't want any more abuse. So let's get to it. Vertigo coming up afterwards.
And then there was one. Only a single map left here between Gen G and Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses who ate a loss early on here at DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. Now looking like they may push this over the line. Inferno looked like a masterclass. The same way that Gen G dismantled EG on Train, Evil Geniuses turn it around and do the same. But what happens on Vertigo?
No one really knows, man. Like, Gen G have played and picked Vertigo in their last 2 or 3 series, but then their very last series, they banned it, and they have a 20% win rate on it. EG have a 50% win rate, I think, but haven't played it in their last, like, 8 or so series, and the last 2 times they did play, they lost both. So it's not looking good for either team. I don't think there's a way both of them can lose the map, though, so at least we'll have a victor at the end of it.
Oh, the old nade lineup. That one's gonna dunk down the bomb planter, supposed to kill him, but seems like it just missed the mark ever so slightly. Saw him on 1/5 of his health. Good old 10-man retake. Oh, Bentet, he just gets launched forward. Whoa, Gen G, they're not even trying to sit back here. They're looking to throw themselves into the retake attempt, and so far, so good. Bentet trying to charge around the smoke as it fades. He's just killing everyone. His gun runs out. Breeze dies. Daps is up. Gen G win the round. What the hell just happened?
A lot of close misses. I mean, they shot their shot, but they were just slightly off every time, just a few millimeters off the mark, and yeah, it doesn't work out. The corner of the smoke thing.
Who run boosts into the retake like that, though?
I don't know.
What was
that? I actually missed it, so I'm not even sure what you're talking about. It was someone from EG. They ran boost. Through the smoke. Oh yeah, wow.
Like, how classic is it for T's in a post plant on the A site to just like sit back and spam through a smoke if maybe somebody defuses the bomb?
Yeah.
But Gen G legitimately, as they had their post plant and flank was clear, just decide to stand on each other's heads and throw a player past these orange boxes into the elevator room.
Well, at least if they lose, they'll have fun doing it.
That was a fair point. And it also works, so maybe I shouldn't be so upset by it. We're gonna get the trade frags over by the A site. Bentet and Som with a kill each off the Galils. This one's converted. 2-0 start.
Maybe better a Glock than a USP, if there's any argument for it. That's
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
There's
maybe
also
Gen
the
G.
whole element of surprise.
I do think that even though Gen G are sporting a lot, like recent losses, and then they've also, even though when they've picked it, and then like they're 1 for 3 on their last matches on Vertigo, I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to be happier about seeing Vertigo than Evil Geniuses, who have just been outright avoiding it completely in their last all of their games. And so I think for Gen G, they're like, well, if we have to play it, at least we know we put in tons of work on this, and there's probably a way that we can win. And we have a game plan we've talked a lot about, and it's not one of our pick anymore, but it's still clearly a map that they just have a lot of protocols on. So I think, if anything, you're gonna feel probably good about Gen G when we look at past matches specifically, but certainly neither team are particularly emphatic about being on this map. Eco again for Evil Geniuses. The evilest of the geniuses. Out to A, full on A. To be met with 4 going towards A.
I think Gen G will also be pretty content about starting on the T side, where they can just kind of set their own game, play what they expect to, and make quick work of rounds like that. Evil Geniuses, just pistols, all chucked to the wayside. But what we've seen across this series has been strong T-side starts in both the first 2 maps. So why wouldn't we get a third?
I do hate the meta of just from a purely aesthetic perspective of watching the post plants with the spams through smoke. So if they want to push it and just try to get all the kills while they get their bomb down, I'm down for it. Bullets are my utility. Breeze put up 113 ADR on Inferno and did so with only 3 utility damage. Well, one stat is really bad, one stat is really good, and they won the map, so I think that cancels out the utility damage. I think overall, Breeze, work on your nades.
If you had to guess, you think it was a frag or a Molotov?
I don't think a Molotov can do 3 damage.
That's a good. What is a single tick of Molotov damage?
Yeah,
8?
8 maybe.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you got.
I should have thought about that before I asked you.
With 3 Molotov bottles or something. I don't know.
3 damage, all by flashbang. One can only hope. All right, we've got Evil Geniuses in with their buy. Time to give us something to talk about. So far, it's been Gen G playing their game. Daps already just running over top of the Opper in Cirque. He drive-bys Breeze. We were supposed to have something to talk about, and instead, this one is falling apart. Automatic, while Daps used the construction to get over towards the B site, actually decides to split through elevator, and that's why he's contesting what was supposed to be a 3-man save on A. You saw EG immediately give up this round, and it may even cost them more guns.
I've got a bit of a talking point. If the CTs are not going to play mid on current Vertigo, then they're always going to be susceptible to B hits, specifically those ones. We see where the CTs died. They had absolutely no idea that Heaven could be aggressed upon, and there was not even a mid player on the A side site that could stop that presence. So from here on out, 100%, they have to be spotting it at the very minimum. And also, they might benefit if Gen G are going to hard press it to put a couple more players watching mid while saving player through the yellow tarp. But look at this. I mean, Cirque, how is he supposed to stop this? Even if he gets a kill, this round's over.
Right. I agree. I, without 100% certainty, but having just looked at, you know, like as you said, like the most recent 8 series or something, EG haven't touched this. I'm almost willing to bet this is their first official on the new reworked Vertigo.
That might be true. Yeah. If you get a fact check on that's a good pistol push here by Ethan. They rush all of the A pressure.
It's gonna get traded. Bentet and Automatic. Those are the 2 names to come out on top. Automatic with the Tech 9, just coming out of the smoke like a hero. He's gonna follow up more damage, but Som gets that frag, and it was the quick clash EG wanted. Started to look great. Even damage versus what remains in Som and Automatic. But Kusta clears out the B site. He's gonna call. They could come join him. And if they're not cautious, Breeze is gonna have something to say.
Well, it always puts a bitter taste in the mouth to see the first round be won via eco. So I think that's kind of nice that Automatic is there to frag out. It'll be cool to see how he works Vertigo, because he is an intuitively good player. He is a star player. He's got a nice balance. But on the analytical side, he definitely does watch a ton of demos compared to a lot of other pros. And I know that for Opstyle specifically, he's going to focus on game tape to improve. And on Vertigo is one of the most interesting ones to look at from that angle, because there are so many operas you can copy and paste, but the differences are in the nuance, how you keep that A ramp.
Right, and that's something that we actually haven't seen from the Opera of Evil Geniuses. Cirque is instead playing towards middle and here on B. Kusta, not going to stop for anybody. Cirque, instead, tasked with picking up the pieces here. Now, he does drop that bomb, so the play starts to slow down, and his teammates rotate over. Nice. Quick adjustment there versus Daps. Cirque looking for a little bit more. He's got 2 bodies pinned behind the orange box. Automatic and Bentet combine. And that should be a crime. Bentet's second headshot's nasty, but he falls to Ethan in the end. Evil Geniuses. It costs them 4 players. But hell, they're on the board.
They really needed one more smoke there. They absolutely did not need to get offed by Cirque. If they dropped a smoke on the left side of site or a Molotov on the side of generator, Cirque wouldn't have had a duel. I think Cirque's movement was very good in terms of just being able to stay alive and pick these fights that were open. So good on him. And that was definitely a bit of a whiff shot there by Tarek, but fantastic 2K by Bentet nonetheless. I think it was fair, you know, to say like, okay, he should be traded. So for him to not win the 1v3 makes a lot of sense. And Kusta dancing with death here, not afraid.
Up here in the world, whoa, maybe you should be scared. Ethan, again, an aggressive stance here from the counter terrorists, so throwing themselves into the face of adversity on ramp. And it is working well. Didn't so much last time because Automatic was able to charge through with the sidearm. But here in round 7, it goes perfectly. Only Daps left over. Tarek doesn't realize he's actually moved by. It's ring around the...
Ring around the box, yeah. Okay. EG, the great aggressive A setup to work against Gen G. They wanted to keep the pace high. A's been shut down, and in very convincing fashion. This HE has a lot of impact. These spam through smokes are perfect. They're holding a lot of safe angles. Ethan's the only one kind of out in the open behind the tarp, but he's doing just fine on that spot. It's very common for people to play there. So now they've established that, what do Gen G want to do? It looks like they want to take the fight again. And Evil Geniuses are expecting more mid control. Look how aggressively they're pushing up here. There's not a single target on the other side.
But they're fighting it as if there's like a 500-man army.
Yeah, they're shadowboxing for their upcoming match.
And then the smokes fade and they realize they've been fooled. There was never a threat. It's all in their heads. Oop. Happens to the best of us. Sometimes you just gotta put a little gusto on it.
I didn't get great marks in physics either.
I never even bothered taking the class.
Can't lose if you don't try.
Stands doubling back towards top mid. I like this. CTs, they're trying to find contact. They're looking for that information, but Cirque, he doesn't get the kill versus Kusta right away. Kusta, whoa!